3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 327 points to 49,425.
Carolina with another shot. Jarvis! And Seth Jarvis snipes it home. It's 2-0 Carolina.
Oakland, top of the arc, can take the lead now. Drives into the lane, dishes right side. McNeil catches for the lead. Buries it. Right side, McNeil.
The left Boozer for the answer. Count it. Cameron Boozer's up to 32.
Trimble pushing the pace. Gets deep, draws the foul, and gets the layup to go. Another three-point chance for the Hill.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. Happy Monday, everybody. Hopefully everyone was safe. Everyone dealt with the weather. Everyone drove safely on the ice. Wasn't maybe what the worst fears were as far as weather coming through our area. I know it did hit other areas more aggressively, but still. Hoping for safety there as we get the week started. And perhaps that meant you had an excuse to sit inside and watch sports all weekend. I can't leave. It's going to start freezing rain any minute now. I got to sit here and I got to watch these games.
I was told to stay home. I'm staying home.
If you watch games and you have some burning opinions, we will open up the phone lines for a Monday Soundoff at 4:15. So keep them in your mind. Maybe polish them up a little bit. Make sure you know what you want to say. 4:15, we will open up those phone lines, and you can drive the show. But with it not being 4:15, it's just a minute or two after 3. It's not time for Monday Soundoff. It's time for the Big 3 at 3. By the way, I'm Tim Donnelly. That voice you heard was Dennis Cox. He'll be producing the show. And number one, Carolina Hurricanes got the W on the road up in Ottawa, 4-1 on Saturday. First of all, I guess it was like the coldest place on earth up in that part of the world.
It really was. Ontario?
That wasn't even an exaggeration. It was the coldest place on earth Saturday night. But they went up into the coldest place on earth. Got the win 4-1. First of all, another win for Brandon Bussi. Just ho-hum, open shut, 35 saves, 36 shots faced. He gets the dub, 19-3-1 at this point in his career. And I think we have a new main topic for the Canes fans out there. Right? Obviously, with the trade deadlines coming up, there's all kinds of who would move, who's available, but what's that contract everybody was talking about with Brandon Bussi? What are the terms? What are they talking about? Does he get paid even more every time he goes out there and has a game like he had on Saturday? How much should they pay him? How much will they pay him? Those are, I think, pretty fun, right? Because especially now at this point, there's 0% chance until you see the numbers that they overpay or anything like that. So it's just, how do you lock up the guy that's 19-3-1 at one of the most important positions in sports? Which, by the way, if you looked at that Ottawa game, I don't think this is exactly how it played out, especially if you watched it. But if you're just like a box score watcher, right? If you're just checking the scores, or I don't know, maybe you're updating the phone rather than watching on the TV, whatever it is. Canes got outshot by a bunch. They got out hit by a bunch. They turned it over more. There's a lot of things that they didn't go the Canes' way, yet they won 4-1. Obviously, part of that is, well, if you have a goalie that's playing really well, that's kind of how it works. I will also say this: they had James Reimer in a blender early on, who was in goal for Ottawa. So you get ahead 3-0, and it just kind of, the game, maybe you play conservatively the rest of the way, but you can't downplay what Bussi does for them in net. And it's not even just his play. It's one of those unexplainable things in sports, maybe not completely unexplainable, but we'll never know exactly. They play better in front of him. There's less. I know he's great in high danger chances, but it just seems like they're more sound in front of him, and they play better in front of him. Thus, you end up winning the games. 4-1, Canes win. That's the main story. That's number one. How about we jump to number two? Before the weekend, right, we talked about how they were rescheduling all of the ACC, not all of them, but a lot of the ACC basketball games, anything that was going to be played on Saturday, they kind of, especially in certain areas of the country, they just bumped it up to noon. And I was jokingly saying, hey, you better get more screens to watch them all. And then we realized with the help of some of our Twitter followers that if you're like a big UNC fan, you probably don't need another screen to watch Duke and NC State play Wake and Pitt. And I was like, yeah, maybe it's just us that covers all three. Well, I'll tell you this. If you are just a generic college basketball fan, which I'm sure there's not many, here in the Triangle, you don't have a real, horse in the race. You're just rooting for good teams locally, like kind of we are. Let's move them all up to noon. Let's play every game at noon on Saturday every weekend, because all three teams got either really solid wins or great wins. UNC won on the road at number 14 Virginia 85-80. Huge win. How it happened, massively important. The grit, the determination they showed, massively important. We'll talk about that one in more detail at 3:15. We're gonna kind of take up some more space with that. But number 5 Duke beating Wake 90-69 on Saturday. I'm calling that they're like a true Max Scherzer game, and he's always the example I use. I think they showed up with like their C+ game. If you watched it, it's like, I don't know if they're playing that well. I don't know. Even Cam Boozer, it's like this probably isn't his best game. He finished with like 33-9.
32-9 and 4.
Like, yeah. And I'm telling you, if you watched it, you would have, if they didn't have the score bug up and they weren't updating you in stats, you would have been like, wow, Boozer, I mean, he's good, but he's not playing as good as he usually does. He finished with 30, whatever he just said, 32-9 and 4. And that's kind of what I looked at for Duke as a team. Right, Dame Sarr, their best perimeter defender, probably going to match up with Juke Harris a bunch. Well, guess what? Dame Sarr got in foul trouble. Juke Harris scored 23. Yet guess what? They won by a whole bunch. Covered the 17.5 spread, winning 90-69. And then NC State won at Pitt, also noon on Saturday. And 81-72 over Pittsburgh's not going to get anybody too excited. But I will say this. That is a true bring your own energy in a suitcase game. Noon at Pitt, bad weather. Pitt's not having a great season. It was if you didn't bring the energy, there wasn't going to be energy.
Yeah, it was probably a dead atmosphere.
Yeah, exactly. And yet they in the second half just plugged away and found a way to win, and it wasn't a one-possession game at the end, and you won kind of comfortably. And when we revisit this game, I'll tell you what my main point was. If Darian Williams is not going to have a good game, right, if he's not going to have that high-usage game that we're clamoring for, if he's not going to score whatever points or take however many shots, that's how they have to win. You look at everybody else on the team, they played their role darn near perfect. Then Allen Lubin, efficient double-double. Kadir Copeland, bunch of points and 9 assists. Paul McNeil, whatever it was, 15 points, but shot well from 3, kept the spacing alive. Matt Abel off the bench, energy, 8 points, and a nice dunk on the baseline if you were watching. Trey Holloman didn't play a ton. It was like 20-something minutes, 22 minutes, but he got his 10 points, and he did so pretty efficiently. All that, like everybody else did what they had to do, so Darian Williams could finish with his 7 points and his, kind of inefficient, less minutes than he's used to play. I still think it's important that most games they play through him, but if you're going to have a game where you don't, that's the kind of thing that has to happen. Everybody else has to do what they are asked to do at a high level. And then also play defense and everything else, and it helps when you're playing Pitt. No offense. Although I don't know how that's not a little bit offense to Pitt. That's number 2. Let's jump to number 3. The Super Bowl matchup is set. And there's a lot of connections that we're going to be tracking. Let's just look at the quarterbacks here, huh? Shall we? Drake May versus Sam Darnold. From Charlotte, goes to Carolina, drafted high by the Patriots, Drake May. And is he like one that got away, spent 2 years in Carolina? Sam Darnold did absolutely nothing. Advances on, and now everyone in Carolina is saying, we had him in our facility. He was playing here. How did we let him go? Let's address the 2 main storylines about each of these guys. For Sam Darnold, I'm 100%, I'll 99% certain about this. There is nothing that makes me believe Sam Darnold would glow up the way that he has if he stayed in Carolina.
Not a chance.
From where he was, and it's not even just what happened in Carolina, from where he was with the Jets and Carolina, there was a very specific path he had to take to end up where he is, playing so well, going out dueling Matt Stafford in an aggressive way to go to the Super Bowl. And that involves a stop as a backup with one of the best offensive minds we know, Kyle Shanahan. Moving over to an unexpected year as a starter with one of the best offensive minds we know in Kevin O'Connell. And then finally being given a bunch of leadership and a bunch of investment by Seattle with a good defense and Jackson Smith and Jigba and Clint Kubiak and everybody else there. I don't know if there's 5 other specific timelines where Sam Darnold ends up doing what he's doing. It's a great story. It's a bit of an underdog story, which is wild for like the former 4-star California kid that goes to USC and then is drafted 3rd overall. But he went to some dark places. He saw some ghosts. I don't think Carolina would have helped him get out. So it's not like, oh, we missed the big one. It's a keep working on yourself so you can get to the point where you're the best option to rehabilitate very, very physically talented, very, very high potential players, and you're not the place that players have to leave to reach their potential. And then for Drake May, there's this storyline, this narrative out there. Easy schedule, right? And then he's gone through just turnover machine after turnover machine and the opposing offense in the playoffs, and he hasn't faced anybody. And oh my goodness, Josh Allen has to play superhero just to make the conference championship, but Drake May can fumble and throw for 86 yards, and he gets to go to the Super Bowl. I'm not even going to disagree with you if that's your case, right? Because the schedule is what the schedule is. And yes, he played very, very good defenses, but, when you're getting Jarrett Stidham and you're getting, turnover frenzies on the other side, I'm not going to disagree with you. What I'm going to say is he's 23 years old and it's his 2nd year in the league. He's not supposed to be there. Do you realize right now how many quarterbacks, and this is in the history of the NFL, okay, so I'm not even just like picking one here, that were 23 years old or younger and started a Super Bowl? Dan Marino, Ben Roethlisberger, and now Drake May. That's it. So if you want to,
good company.
It's great company. If you want to argue that Dan Marino or Ben Roethlisberger are better, we can have that conversation. But everybody else didn't reach this far. So maybe he didn't play great in the game. They won it. Maybe he rode the defense's shoulders and the other team gifted him some things. Who cares?
Still won.
He's not supposed to be here.
That team overall is not supposed to be here.
It's exactly. It's okay. Let's pretend he missed the playoffs this year, and then everyone's okay with him. Then nobody's pointing that out, right? If he misses the playoffs and makes his first playoffs 2 years from now and plays better on a run to the Super Bowl, everyone's like, oh, he's great. It's like, well, okay. Just pretend he didn't make the playoffs this year, and we'll go with that. Because that's what every other quarterback other than Marino and Roethlisberger did at his age. They didn't make it to the Super Bowl. And by the way, Dan Marino's year, that's a different beast. That might be the best quarterback year in the history of the game. If you account for the era it was in, that was the year he held every record. But Ben Roethlisberger wasn't the main driving force of that Pittsburgh team to make it either.
That was defense and running the ball.
There you go. Drake May's doing it defense and kind of whatever works offensively. It's not even like a great running game. He's the running game in a lot of ways. Just realize what you're doing here. If you're comparing him to the runs of, late career Tom Brady in New England, that's fine. No, compare him to what Tom Brady did in his first Super Bowl. And Drake's pretty much right on target with that. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That is the Big Three at 3. As promised, when we come back, we dive further into a wildly impressive, very, very well-timed, exciting road win for the Carolina Tar Heels. Stick around.
Stevenson left alone, left side three. Count it! Stevenson again!
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We will have a Monday Soundoff, open up the phone lines for all of you to have your opinions heard on air at 4:15, about an hour from now. So bookmark the phone number, 919-860-5326. If you plan on listening to us for the next hour, awesome. If not, set that alarm. 4:15, 4:20, whatever time you want to set it for. Set it so your phone will remind you to call on in. Again, the phone number, Heaster Automotive Group hotline, 919-860-5326. Not open now. Will be in an hour. I'm going to do something that I promised I would do on Friday if a certain outcome happened. I'm going to eat my words a little bit about UNC. UNC, meaning Hubert Davis and the boys, did something I didn't think they could do over the weekend. And if you think it's come from behind 16 points to defeat a top 15 team on the road, it's not necessarily it. That's part of it. The comeback is impressive for all the reasons that every comeback is impressive. The mettle they showed, the grit, the stick-to-itiveness, the togetherness, all the things that, coaches put on the back of T-shirts when you're working out. That's all good. That's all fantastic. But the part that I didn't think they could do, the part that I am eating crow about as promised, is I didn't think they could do it if they didn't have great games from Caleb Wilson and Henry Vasar. I kind of assumed that their only path to gigantic wins, which this was, right? Top 15 team, Virginia, all the momentum in their house. The only way I thought they could get to a fantastic win like that was great games from Wilson and Vasar and then good enough from the backcourt. Right? Just good enough. I wasn't asking for the world. I was asking for good enough from the guys that mostly play on the perimeter, from the guys that are mostly shooting threes, from the guys that have to defend the perimeter. Well, guess what? They did not get a great game from Henry Vasar. Wilson's still pretty good. Wilson's still Wilson, don't get me wrong.
Vasar was in a lot of foul trouble.
Exactly. A lot of foul trouble, rendered kind of ineffective, I guess. And no disrespect. This is just to show kind of how unusual it was. Jacob Turner of Tar Heels 247 tweeted this out before the game. In 66 games at Arizona, Henry Vasar had 0 double-doubles. He's now up to 10 this season. This is before the game. He's also scored in double figures in all 19 games and leads UNC in plus-minus at plus 279. All 19 games, double figures, you say? Do we count that one as an announcer's jinx?
Yeah, I guess so.
Do we put that one on old Jake Turner over there at Tar Heels 247?
Jake's got to wear this one.
Scored 7 points, grabbed 1 rebound, dealt with foul trouble. His plus-minus was -8. That and for whatever the reason, right? Whether it's foul trouble, maybe he was tweaked something. I don't know. What? I'm not saying it's his fault that he wasn't super effective. I'm saying I didn't think Carolina had that win in them if he were ineffective. But you look at who stepped up. I thought Derek Dixon played really well, the freshman point guard. Distributing the basketball, right? Setting guys up, but also looking for his shot enough. I thought in limited minutes, Jaren Stevenson played really, really well.
3 straight starts, I believe, for Dixon.
Mm-hmm. And kind of in that 10 to 14 points every game that he's out there, but he's getting better at everything else, right? Luka Bogova, I thought, played well. Again, in a different role, but played well. Seth Trimble. If you look at plus-minus, right, which is, granted, a not perfect stat, but it's a quick encapsulation of how well someone's playing. The top 4 for UNC were Derek Dixon plus 22, Jaren Stevenson plus 19, and then Luka Bogovat and Seth Trimble plus 9 apiece. Caleb Wilson plus 3. Everybody else, negative. Everyone else was in the minus. If you told me going into the game that Derek Dixon and Jaren Stevenson and even like a Bogovat and Trimble were your most effective players, I would have gone, ooh, tough beat, right? Because if they're your most effective, that means it's not Caleb Wilson. That means it's not Henry Vasar. And I would go, oh, man, those guys finally played well and the other 2 didn't. What are the chances? I still think Caleb Wilson played well. We've already talked about Vasar. They came away with the win. So that is, for a multitude of reasons, a massive win for UNC. Okay, let's start with just the regular, right? They had whatever it was, four games prior to the Notre Dame game. 4 games where they were not playing the cream of the crop in the ACC, right? They were not playing the ranked opponents from the ACC, and they were struggling to various degrees. So now playing one of the cream of the crop and to come out with a win, that almost cancels out 1 or 2 of those games that they struggled with. Right now, it's okay. You're not necessarily as flawed as we thought. You might just be a little inconsistent. Secondly, I think it builds confidence for the backcourt a ton. Hey, we had to step up there, right? We weren't. What's the Cam Newton thing? Are you a truck or are you a trailer? They weren't trailers in this one. The backcourt was one of the trucks. They were driving their way to the win rather than just hitching up to the big men and letting them carry them to wins. To know you can do that is so, so valuable. And I always, as I say often, I always relate it back to my career because it's what pops in. I make no mistakes about the games we won when I was the quarterback at Delaware. We had All-American running back. We had 2 or 3 All-Americans on the offensive line. I was there as a trailer for a lot of those games, right? How many times could I hand it off? But every once in a while, there'd be like a second half where they'd be stacking the box 8 or 9 deep, and our coach would be like, we're going to have to throw to win this one. And when we came through, you couldn't tell us anything for the next 2 weeks. Our passing game was so much more confident. Even if the next 2 games, right, all I did was hand it off and we won running the football again, you could carry that confidence. Stevenson, Dixon, Bogavat, they could carry this confidence for weeks. Hey, they might not call on us every game, right? We might not have to be the big dogs every game. Caleb and Henry, those might be the big dogs most games, but we know when we're called upon in a road game against a top 15 team, we can come through. And how do we know it? Because we did it and we got film to prove it. That's massive. That's gigantic. Now, obviously, and this has become a kind of quest for what I think are a lot of the top most talented teams in the ACC, you have to prove sustainability. You have to prove you can do it over and over and over and over again. You have to prove that even if a day you wake up and it's not great, you can still find a way to be impactful. I'm talking to the backcourt. But that right there is a resume-building quad 1. What do they call them? Quad 1As? I don't even – what are the letters doing after the quads? I never know. But that's as big a win as you can get. I think the quads are already confusing enough. We don't have to start adding letters in there like it's algebra class.
High end. We'll go high end. Top end, top quality.
Remember that moment? First time you take algebra, you walk in, you think you're pretty smart with math, and they throw like an X up there, and you're like, wait a minute. I just got the numbers figured out. Now we're solving for Y?
Yeah.
No. That's how I feel when they started saying quad 1A. I'm going, no. I just got the quads and the numbers and the ratings. Now you're throwing letters up there? No. But either way, whatever the top version of a quad 1 is, that's what that is for Carolina. And then you throw in the fact that, right, by the timeline of it, if this game came before their struggles, people would be using it as fodder to downgrade somebody like Hubert Davis, the coach, right? We were so good against Virginia, and look what it's devolved into. But because it came after those struggles, it's now a feather in his cap, right? Oh, he adjusted. Oh, he regrouped. He looked at what was going on and made some changes. Derek Dixon into the lineup, let him grow through some mistakes, and now look at him. Right? Somebody like Kyan Evans is playing way less. And that's not to say that's when Evans is out, it's good, but it is to say that's a pretty dramatic change. Evans was kind of scheduled to be a big part of this game, big part of this team, I should say. And then by now, they've already made that adjustment. That's coaching right there, whether you like it or not. So, yeah, I'll eat some crow happily for that game. I wouldn't have been eating crow if, Wilson and Vasar combined for 60 and they won. I'd be going, no, that's the way they're going to have to win big games. This one makes me go, interesting. That's new. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have the Dean's List coming up, and it was a massive day on Saturday, not just for triangle teams that all got wins at noon. It was a massive day for a different group of people in college basketball. I'll tell you who next.
Play fake. Bryce rolling to his right. Throws. Back of the end zone. Juggled and intercepted by the 49ers and Jair Brown.
As that play was developing, it was a hard play action. Bryce rolls to his right. There's a million Niners jerseys in the back of the end zone there. I'm thinking to myself, don't throw it. He threw it, Luke.
Oh, no! We suck again!
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, just since we came out of break with a Panthers highlight.
Yeah.
The Rams looked really gosh darn good, even in the loss to Seattle.
Mm-hmm. That was a great game.
It was, and I hope it's not the case, but I wonder if, looking back at this year, we might say that was the Super Bowl, where it's like, oh, the two best teams actually met up in that conference championship game. And again, I hope that's not the case because I want a classic game between New England and Seattle. But if Seattle runs through it, you're going to recognize, oh, Rams likely the second best team in the league. They played three absolute classics this year, Seattle and the Rams. But the only reason I bring that up is the Panthers stared the Rams in the face twice. Won one, lost one, obviously in the postseason. But that there's some do you belonging stuff happening there where if you can go toe to toe with the Rams, you can go toe to toe with anybody in the NFL on any given Sunday.
I don't know. People said that also in 2024 when they almost beat the Chiefs and they almost beat the Eagles. Same thing. I'm like, okay, you still finished 8-9.
I think that's those games were completely different because I think you were watching those games and even when you were watching it going, how in the heck is this close? And then you watch the Rams game and you're like, no, these look like two fair teams, like two, they're battling it out and both landing punches. The 2024 games, no offense, they were awesome. And, hey, Xavier Legette catches it, sliding doors moment. But at no point in time when I was watching those games going, these teams look like they're in the same weight class. It was kind of like somebody blow the whistle and just keep it close, right? Like it was a completely different beast. The Rams to me, especially the first one, but the second one, not a ton different. It was like, wait a second here. You don't look outclassed. And the Rams are maybe not the class of the NFL, but they're in whatever the top tier is for this season. We'll see if they return everyone they need to return. If you agree or disagree, you can always let me know when Monday's Soundoff comes around. About 45 minutes from now, we'll open up the phone lines, take your calls on Canes, college basketball, college football, NFL, whatever you want to talk about, Panthers. We'll open up the phone lines at 4:15, so stick around for that. In the meantime, it's time for the Dean's List. All right, let's get some of the obvious out of the way here. Whole bunch of players that played their college football right here in the great state of North Carolina that will have a chance to win a Super Bowl ring. Let's go first for the Patriots. Center Garrett Bradbury, who, by the way, is like one of those veterans that, I think is probably doing some like ha-has I told yous, because when he signed with New England, it was kind of like, ooh, guess you're not going to get another chance here, are you? Like it was you're not signing with a contender, right? You're not ring chasing, and then obviously he might have been ring chasing. He might end up with the ring anyway. So Bradbury from State. On the defensive line for the New England, Corey Durden, also from State. Was it the biggest play, longest offensive play for them yesterday? I think it was the flea flicker from Drake May to Ramondre Stevenson. Flicks it back to Drake May. Finds Mac Hollins over the shoulder. That's a Carolina to Carolina connection, North Carolina to North Carolina.
Hey, look, a flea flicker that worked.
And actually...
And kind of rough weather, too.
I was going to say, the only difference there was it didn't have to be as quick because they weren't on the 20-yard line.
There's that.
And actually, if you want to go watch that entire play and realize it might just be about player execution, right? Rico falls, whatever you want to call it, throws it back, chaos. Ramondre Stevenson takes the handoff, turns, flips it back to Drake, flips back around, and makes a great block. So much so that Drake May catches it, needs a half second, steps up in the pocket after the flea flicker because his running back is running the free man off. Is a great play by Stevenson. And when you compare it to how it went for the Panthers, it's like, oh, that running back just did a much better job than that one, which is, sometimes it's that. And then Amari Gaynor, also UNC linebacker, is on the practice squad for New England. For the Seahawks, wide receiver Jake Bobo went to Duke for that last season. Caught a touchdown in the conference championship. What was it, his 4th catch of the year, they were saying on the broadcast? And then they tried, later on in the game, they tried a screen to him. And it was the most, you don't play that much screen in the history of the world. It was gunned at his upfield shoulder. He didn't know what to do. It was an inaccurate throw. But Jake Bobo caught a touchdown. I hope he kept the ball. That's one that gets, put up in the den in a cool display. Drake Thomas, NC State linebacker, is one of the breakout stars for Seattle this year. Was he banged up in that game yesterday?
Yeah, I hurt his shoulder late in the game for third or fourth quarter.
I haven't seen any updates on it.
I have not either.
He's surprisingly very similar to the player that he was at NC State now, after a couple years where he just wasn't trusted to do much but special teams and be a fill-in guy. But for Seattle this year, he's playing a ton. Chaz Surratt is another North Carolina guy, linebacker. He's on the injured list.
Yeah, he's on the injured reserve right now.
But I read an article today that said he might be back for the Super Bowl. Obviously, they get that 2-week break. And then they have a corner from App State, Shamar Jean Charles, not sure how to pronounce it, but he's on the practice squad for Seattle. So a lot of local guys getting a chance to go ahead and potentially win a Super Bowl ring. Definitely be on a Super Bowl team, which is pretty darn cool. Now, I teased this before the break. Dean's List. It was a massive Saturday for one particular subset of players in college basketball. There's some statistical arguments that Saturday was the most impressive scoring day for freshmen in college basketball history. AJ DeBonsa of BYU scored 43 points for BYU versus Utah. Kingston Flemings, these are all freshmen, freshmen. Not freshmen that were I've been a pro in Yugoslavia for 15 years and now I'm a freshman at 35 years old. These are freshmen. Kingston Flemings had 42 points for Houston at Texas Tech. Keaton Wagler had 46 points for Illinois at number 4 Purdue in the upset. Darius Acuff had 31 points for Arkansas versus LSU. Cam Boozer had 32 for Duke versus Wake, and Caleb Wilson had 20 for UNC at UVA. There are some statistics about freshman 40-point games where 3 could be a lot for a season. They had 3 40-point games in a day for freshmen. And if we weren't talking about those, we'd be talking about the others, the 30-pluses, the smooth 20s, so many great scoring freshmen, to the point where, people are already talking about how impressive this is going to be for a draft class. It feels old school. It feels, I don't know, like a draft from the early 2000s where there's just so many stars. And Darren Peterson, not even on this list, right? Nate Ament, not even on this list. I truly think Caleb Wilson might have been number 2 or maybe even the number 1 overall pick in most of the last, 6 or 7 drafts. He might be 5th, 4th in this year's draft, which just goes to show you how many pretty impressive players there are. 43, 42, and 46, all from freshmen on the same day. Cam Boozer's a future top 5 pick. He scored 32, and it was easily the 4th or 5th most impressive scoring performance from a freshman on Saturday. Do you have anyone you want to add to the Dean's List, Dennis?
No, I was actually going to add all the guys from schools in the state of North Carolina into the mix, but yeah, we already
took
did that
from him. Last one, just because I think maybe the only way we can really fight back against for the NCAA, we got to be on their side.
Okay.
Because they can't enforce anything without getting sued and losing. So I think we might just have to shame teams into doing kind of the right thing.
All right.
I'm putting Tennessee basketball on the Dean's List. So they played against Alabama, talking men's basketball, and they won. Charles Bediako scored 13 points for Alabama in the loss. Bediako, obviously the former Alabama player, G League player, NBA contract signer that was forced, or the league was forced by courts to allow him to play the rest of the year for Alabama, even though it's the strangest situation I've been a part of. Tennessee tweeted after the game, "At Bluecoats, you are next." The Bluecoats are the Delaware Bluecoats in the G League. So they're now saying, like, we just beat a G League team because Bediako was playing, and now we're going after other G League teams.
That's funny.
I think we just have to shame the heck out of teams that bring professional players onto their college teams. And maybe the embarrassment, right? Because coaches have egos, right? Maybe the embarrassment could stem it a little bit. Probably not. But in the meantime, we might get some funny zings, which I always appreciate. So Tennessee basketball makes the list. And that'll do it for the Dean's List for today. We'll be back at it again tomorrow. When we come back, we broaden our scope. It's not just colleges, it's everybody who's a winner and who's a loser of the last week. Stick around.
Installed upfit solutions from Van Products.
Low mortgage rates are back. Listen, Loan Pronto has fixed rate mortgages with APRs as low as 4.89%, lowest in years. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Smart homeowners are taking advantage of this while they can. If you got stuck in a 6% loan, you can lower your payment big time, or you can keep your primary mortgage intact and get cash out of your equity with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. One homeowner just got $250,000 out of their home. They paid off all their credit cards and some car loans and cut their monthly expense by $2,000. Call now and see what option works best for you, but don't miss the big rate drop of 2026. Ask about new home loans, VA loans, full cash out refis, or their famous Rapid Equity Loan. You can close in less than 2 weeks, and you may be able to skip your next 2 house payments altogether. Call 919-381-1760 or visit loanpronto.com for your free instant home appraisal with no hard credit pull. Call 919-381-1760 now, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166171, APR for well-qualified buyers. Visit NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Now he'll back in one up Stankoven. Stankoven with a shot. He scores! Logan Stankoven. And for the first time in this series, the Canes have a lead.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. Logan Stankoven, I said, or I tweeted this out. Some list of lines that have the highest expected goal percentage, whatever it was, but it was top 10 in the NHL, and 2 of them in the top 10 featured Logan Stankoven and Jackson Blake, and I just went, those contracts are going to be so lovely, either so valuable, right, because a bunch of people immediately wrote to me saying, yeah, when he turns into Robert Thomas, it's going to be great. I'm like, whatever.
Now he'll back in one up
whatever. Value is value, right? I'd like to see the trade before I criticize the trade, right? How what's the return and everything? But those two guys are. I think it'll start. Expected goals only stay expected for so long before they start becoming goals.
There's an interesting subset of Canes fans that for some reason do not like Logan Stankoven, like hate the guy. I'm like, what did he do?
I don't want to say this in a mean way because I've been as casual a hockey fan as there can be in my life. I think they're just goal watchers, right? If you don't score a ton of goals, you must be bad, and if you score a ton of goals, you must be awesome. And obviously, Canes as a system, and I would think most Canes fans don't look at it that way. They recognize value in a bunch of other ways and everything that comes with it. But Stankoven does go on some goal-scoring droughts, right? He also goes on streaks where he scored, 4 goals in 4 games. So at that point, I bet you everyone was saying he was awesome.
But yeah, it's just I see fans, even in our YouTube live chats and in our comments, stuff like, hey, he needs to be scratched. I'm like, what?
Scratched?
Yeah, I was like, whoa, pump brakes here, people. Like, for what?
Kind of scratched is a whole different conversation. I thought that maybe, bump him down a line or something, like not play him at center, right? Like there's certain conversations we can have, but scratched is a different beast. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We do have Monday Soundoff. We could take some Logan Stankoven takes if you want to go scorched earth with it in about a half hour when we open up the phone lines on Monday Soundoff. Bookmark the time. We'll tell you when to call in. You get to drive the conversation. Phone line's completely open at 4:15. Right now, though, it's time for winners and losers.
This team will never lose again.
Winners and losers. Over the last week, and really it could extend beyond if just something happened this week that kind of spurs it. Who's winning and who's losing? And we are looking more for aura, as the kids say, rather than scoreboard, because, we can all check a box score and say who won the game. But what player, what team, what coach is kind of winning at sports life is what we're looking for. And I'll get us started. Winner, Mike Vrabel. You ready for this? The Patriots have won as many games since December 21st. That is a month and 5 days ago. As the Titans have won since firing Mike Vrabel. They fired him not before this year.
Yeah.
Not before the year before.
No.
Fired him at the end of the previous year. And he's won as many games in essentially the last month as the Titans have won since firing him. That's got to feel good. That's winning the breakup if I've ever seen that.
Oh, absolutely. I got the young hot quarterback.
Yeah. I was with Cam Ward. Who knows yet? We got.
I got Drake May. I'm good.
I mean, trust me, I'm picking Drake May.
Yeah.
But who knows what Cam Ward becomes? Loser. I think I got to put Belichick.
Okay.
Because, right, if we're giving Vrabel, winning the breakup, now, obviously, Tom Brady left and got a Super Bowl with Tampa, and now Robert Kraft, the owner of the Patriots, is going back to a Super Bowl with the Patriots. They were seen as, the the trio of the Patriots dynasty, and now the other two have both been in championship situations, and Belichick is not quite yet. So at the moment, right, with opportunity, if he goes on, wins an ACC, gets to a CFP, we'll even it up. But at the moment, in the breakup, I think he's falling a little bit behind. Who do you have? Do you have any? I should say who. Do you have any winners and losers you'd like to throw in here?
I do. Winner, snow.
You just like snow?
Snow. Well, snow is also fun, but sitting inside on Sunday while the ground is covered in snow and there's sleeting and all that stuff, and then you see Denver, just the snow start coming down in the second half, you're like, this is awesome. We're sharing this experience together. By the way, football played in snow, always put it on my television. I don't care who's playing. I want it on my TV.
Oh, interesting.
Yes. Oh, football in snow, I don't care who's playing. I want it on my television.
I don't know if this is a hot take, and I'm not fully in on it, so hear me out. I really like snow games as regular season games. I don't love them for who gets to play in the Super Bowl.
No, I'm for it.
It's just it's a completely different game. And when people spend their whole lives to get that chance, if they put together the best team and then it's oh, by the way, snow, no one can stand upright. Whatever the score is at halftime, that's just going to pretty much be it.
Play through it. I don't care.
I know. I hear what you're saying. I'm not fully in on it, but I also don't want every game played in a dome, so I'm difficult to please. Another winner, Scotty Scheffler. I mean, golf fans out there, what he's doing is crazy.
People play golf this weekend?
Yeah, but
where?
Everyone else may as well not have.
Where, Hawaii?
It was out in California.
Oh, that makes sense. Close enough.
They're on the California swing right now. They'll be at Torrey Pines this weekend. But he won the American Express by 4 shots. And I kid you not, actually, I should bring it up exactly. When he was through 5 holes, he was like 4 under through 5 on Thursday. This is the very first, Thursday's the first round of the tournament, obviously. I sent to my very nerdy golf group chat because we had been debating who's going to play well and who are we picking and all these things. I literally wrote after 5 holes, all of our debating about golfers may not matter when Scotty is in the field. When he's in the field, he might just win. And that's exactly what he did. Loser, and this is one I think we can all get on board with. The Pro Bowl. Did you see who's going to the Pro Bowl, Dennis?
I did.
Shedeur Sanders. Now, I don't want to make this an argument about Shedeur Sanders because I know there are people that are on either end of the spectrum about him. He's not a Pro Bowler. His QBR is 19.
Not ranked 19th. It's literally 19.
19. He doesn't win games. He throws interceptions. He's not a Pro Bowler. He might one day be great. Who knows? He's not a Pro Bowler. I hate what they've done to my Pro Bowl. I was a big Pro Bowl fan growing up. I lived in Hawaii. I used to go to the game. It was my Christmas present every year. You'd open up the tickets, and I'd have to wait till the summer to go, and it would be so much fun. Or wait till, I guess, the winter to go. In Hawaii, you don't really know. It was so much fun. It doesn't matter anymore. And do you know what I hate? We still debate it like Hall of Fames and stuff. So-and-so is a 7-time Pro Bowler. I'm like, yeah, well, Mitch Trubisky's also a Pro Bowler. Jameis Winston got to go. Huntley?
Tyron Huntley, yeah.
Snoop Huntley has one of those things. Mac Jones, Pro Bowler. Shedeur Sanders, Pro Bowler as a rookie. I have since it's all just games now, it's like, tug of war and stuff. Just don't name alternates. Oh, your team has 1 quarterback. I'm guessing they can throw extra in 7-on-7 or flag football, whatever you do. You don't need multiples. Winner. Let's get to the good side of things. Brandon Bussi, right? I mean,
yeah,
the guy's winning at a ridiculous rate, 19-3-1. How can he be anything but a winner? And also, it's always great to turn in a 35 save out of 36 shots faced performance right as rumors come out that you and your team are getting closer to a contract extension, right? If you're down to the last few holdups in a contract extension, you want X, they want X minus 2, whatever it is. And you're like, well, I feel like that's got to bump it up to what I want there, right? Just good negotiating. Loser. Tariq Woolen.
Ooh.
For those of you that were watching, his team won. So this is like an aura thing. Corner for the Seahawks. 3rd and 12. Facing the Rams. And that Rams offense. So if you can get a chance to get off the field against Stafford and Puka and Devontae and all those guys, you got to take it. 3rd and 12. Late. NFC Championship game. He makes a great play. Pass breakup. Woo. Flag for taunting. I don't know if it was a good call or not. We don't know what he said. If he said a few things that are magic words, then yeah. Makes sense. He got called for taunting. Automatic first down. Rams score. He gives up the touchdown. Just go turn around. Don't look at the Rams sideline. Yell whatever you want at your teammates. You're good. You made the play. That's rough. More winners. Let's get back to the good side of things. How about Alex Honnold? Are you familiar with this guy, the climber?
Yeah, I actually watched that on Saturday night.
I didn't watch it, but I saw the clips. That guy makes no sense to me. Was it as cool watching it live as it seemed in the clips?
Yeah, it really was. So he is someone that does freestyle climbing. So no harnesses, no ropes.
Free solo.
Oh, so yeah, free solo. My apologies.
Yeah, that's fine.
But free solo climbing. He actually did, I forget what it was out there in Yosemite. Forget the name of it. But anyway. So
Taipei 101.
Yes. So he climbed a 1,700-foot tall building all the way up to the top of the spire. No rope, nothing.
Climbing up like windows and stuff.
Yeah.
Like
this guy slips, life's done. I don't say that exaggerating. Like, literally, you're 800 feet up, you fall, it's over.
And by the way, it was live on Netflix.
Yeah, I watched it.
Everybody would have been witness to it, which is kind of.
Yeah, my fiance and I were watching. Like, are we about to watch somebody fall to their death?
Like, I didn't watch it. I'm not sure I could have because I would have just been knot in my stomach. But then also, like, he was so casual about it.
Yeah.
I don't like. Did you see the videos from the people inside the building?
I haven't seen those. No.
They're like people are just filming with their phones, like the windows he's climbing up, and he's just like smiling. He's hanging, like nodding at them and like interacting with them. Well, he's like 1,000 feet in the air, holding on to like the tiniest ledge of a window, and he's just like, "Hey."
It took him about 90 minutes to do it. I think my fiance and I watched the last half of it.
Goodness.
We're like, oh, he's got another 800 feet to go or 700 feet to go. It was kind of wild. I actually wondered, does that guy get bored with walking upstairs? Like, for real. It's like, I could just climb.
He probably does on his hands or something. He's like,
I could just climb. But just the fact that he does it was pretty remarkable.
It is. I mean, it was just the clips I saw were insane. I know people say like he doesn't have like a fear thing in his brain. He like something isn't connected the way the rest of ours are, so he doesn't feel fear. But also, like, that doesn't mean that if he falls, it wouldn't be catastrophic, right? It's not like, oh, I don't have fear. Like, if that'd be good for like if you were simulating it, right? Because then he would just be like, oh, I'm not scrambling, do. But like, it's real. He has to be that good of a climber, or else tragedy.
The wild thing was that when he got to the top and finished it, and I guess it's his fiance or wife or girlfriend, whomever. And I mean, I think it's his wife. And he's like hugging her and all that stuff. She's like, "Oh my gosh, this is crazy." He goes, "Well, that was cool." I'm like, no, you can't just sit there and go, "Well, that was fun."
I did see other climbers, like other people in that world that, I mean, I'm guessing they don't do it without ropes, but other people said this is like the 500th most impressive climb he's done. Like, if you can go watch other documentaries and other climbs he's done, and they're way scarier than that. This one's just a building, so it looked cool. I'm going like, well, it was pretty darn scary, so if he has 499 scarier than that, this dude is a legitimate, he needs to be studied.
Oh, he climbed El Capitan out in Yosemite, which is a 3,000-foot climb. Took him 3 hours and 56 minutes.
And he, like, chooses the hardest way up.
Yeah.
With no ropes. Winner.
Because why not?
I imagine Netflix is now like, what else can you climb? Like, a lot of people watched. Like,
right.
What else is there that's really tall? The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That's winners and losers. If you have some winners and losers, you can send them to our YouTube live stream into the chat there underneath. If you're watching on YouTube, 99.9 The Fan is the channel. Live stream, and then jump in the comments with winners and losers. Football at 4 is coming up next. We look at another position group heading into the offseason. Stick around. Hey, it's Tim Donnelly here, and I want to make sure everybody knows that Bailey's Fine Jewelry is proud to feature the largest Omega showroom of its kind, offering an unmatched opportunity to explore the brand's full collection. And this year, that means just a little bit more, because Omega has been the official timekeeper of the Olympic Games since 1932. So, if Omega and their timekeeping and all of the technology and innovation that you can have on your wrist is good enough in the extreme cold, high speeds, and intense physical conditions of the Olympics, downhill skiing, speed skating where every tenth of a second matters, well, guess what? It has to be good enough for you. And, in my personal opinion, they also look so darn sharp. I am a massive fan of Omega watches, luxury timepieces, and that's why you should stop out at the largest Omega boutique of its kind inside Bailey's Fine Jewelry at their Village District location.
Not sure how to tackle your taxes? Are you sweating the small print? You may be experiencing FOMO, the fear of messing up. The answer? Using TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They help you get your biggest refund, and then we help you do more with it with a personalized plan designed to help you hit your money goals. It's time to take your taxes to the max. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
Big tax changes this year could mean a bigger refund, and Jackson Hewitt knows how to get you your biggest. You'll get $100 just to try us. That won't make you filthy rich, but definitely gas plus groceries rich. And since we know all the new tax codes, you could get thousands back, which would make you low-key loaded. Or at least wealthy adjacent? Go with our trusted pros and get $100 to switch. Rest easy. Jackson Hewitt's got your taxes. Guaranteed. Limited time offer for new clients. Participating locations only. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, Injury Lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
Middle of the day Monday, temperatures above freezing with highs in the upper 30s and sunshine this afternoon. Anything that's wet overnight will refreeze. Temperatures in the teens, a cold weather advisory leading to another WRAL weather alert day, then sunshine Tuesday. I'm meteorologist Chris Michaels in the WRAL Severe Weather Center.
Weather update brought to you by Blue Shark Vodka, the world's smoothest vodka. Pour Blue Shark Vodka at all your events to lift everyone's spirits. Blue Shark Vodka, the shark that doesn't bite. 4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones at the closing bell up 313 points to 49,412.
Let's move the chains. Time for football at 4.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. We do have a Monday Soundoff coming up at 4:15, so we're just 15 minutes away from opening up the phone lines and letting you decide in which direction the show goes. You can bookmark the phone number now. Phone lines aren't open, but you can get ready. 919-860-5326. That is the Heister Automotive Group hotline. Again, not yet, but you can get ready. All right, we're continuing our series here at Football at 4 of looking at the positions, each position group for the Panthers going into the offseason. And this is, there is no offseason or there is no downtime in the NFL. We're looking towards next year already, right? And it's a way we almost need like our checkpoint now for the roster for next season, the 2026 regular season, so we know how well we think the front office did or what they feel they needed to work on most heading into the offseason, right? So if we give each position group a out of 100 score. And, I hope to revisit this either during training camp or right before training camp. And if the score has gone up, that means they did well in the offseason at that position. And if it goes down, that means not great. And if it stays the same, that means they did absolutely nothing. So we'll see where it goes. And today, as we've started far away from the football and we're bringing it in close, we're going to tight ends. Right, we've done defensive backs, receivers, off-ball linebackers. We've done running backs. Tight ends are up next, and I'm giving it a 70 out of 100. 70 out of 100. The three that are under contract for next year: Tommy Tremble, Jatavian Sanders, Mitchell Evans. Sanders and Evans still on rookie contracts. Tremble, a little bit more of a veteran deal, not a break-the-bank deal by any stretch. Still a pretty good value.
Yeah, final year of his deal. He signed a 2-year extension last offseason.
Here's the hard part about tight ends. And I think I hate to use this because nobody cares, but if you play fantasy football, I think this is something you already know. There are very few true difference makers at tight end in the NFL. It's why I think when you have one, it is such a massive advantage, like gigantic advantage. Matter of fact, this year is an anomaly in the two teams that made the Super Bowl. Because if you look at the last 20 years, quite often teams that make and especially teams that win the Super Bowl have likely future Hall of Fame tight ends or at least all-pro, multiple-time Pro Bowlers, crazy good tight ends, right? Think of how often Gronk made it, Kelsey made it. Think of how often Kittle made it. Think of Ertz. Think of, these guys were good for a long time. Goddard even pretty good when he's good. This year, maybe not that, but I still think if you can find a truly difference maker at tight end, it gives you a leg up on everybody because it's just a massive advantage. There aren't many out there. And it's really hard to evaluate, which is why, all those guys I just said, it's not like they were, the top 10 picks. You know what I mean? They're quite often middle of the pack, middle round draft picks, second round draft picks, guys that fell through the cracks. And then they get to the NFL and all of a sudden look at this. 2 or 3 years into their career, they're an all-pro and they're that way for the next 10 years. It's kind of crazy. So with the acknowledgement that there are very few true difference makers at tight end in the NFL, the Panthers don't have one, right? You can really like Tommy Tremble, not the guy you circle on the scouting report if you're an opposing team's defensive coordinator. Jatavian Sanders, I thought, had the possibility coming into the draft, but now you're through a couple years. He's battled some injuries, hasn't really flashed what I thought was a seam stretching ability. He's had some opportunities to make some tough catches, got his hands on the ball. I don't call them drops because they're really tough, sometimes sideline, body contorting catches, but he's gotten his hands on them and hasn't come down with them for the most part. And then Mitchell Evans is a advanced analytics darling. Some of the PFF guys really like him. I think he's a really good blocker, great size. But again, true difference maker? No. So is 70 out of 100 maybe the ceiling for these guys? Perhaps. But their floor is probably like 65. Like their high floor, low ceiling. And part of the reason why I am fascinated by the tight ends for the Panthers this offseason is because, yes, I've already looked at a few. The mock drafters, the NFL networks, the ESPNs, they love to give the Panthers Kenyon Sadiq, who is the kind of consensus number one tight end in the draft out of Oregon, which I don't love. And I'm not saying I don't love the player, although we can talk about that in a second. I don't love the Panthers using a first-round pick on a tight end.
Why?
Because historically, it is a wildly bad investment to draft a tight end in the first round. And because there's like a little bit of a hot streak right now with Bowers, who, by the way, is a wide receiver that happens to be called a tight end, and then Colston Loveland and Tyler Warren last year, little bit of a hot streak. All of a sudden, everybody's all in on the tight ends, and I'm going Kincaid, Pitts, Hawkinson, Fant, Hurst, Howard, Engram, Njoku, Ebron, Eifert. Like, there's not a great hit rate of tight ends in the first round. And I think part of it is because it's such a feel position, right? It's such a – like, it's great if you're Kyle Pitts and you can just outrun guys in a straight line, but a lot of times you have to be able to do – like the opposite of what the skill set is for the person guarding you. Meaning, if you get guarded by a linebacker, you have to be able to run by him. And you don't have to run a 4.37 to run by a linebacker for the most part, unless you're one of the great ones, right? Or if you're guarded by like a nickel, you have to be able to bully them and box them out and be physical with them. And guess what? You don't have to be 270 to bully a nickel defensive back. So as long as you're faster than the average linebacker and stronger than the average defensive back, you're in that threshold of physically good enough. You don't have to be an Adonis. You don't have to be the most physically gifted tight end in the world, but you have to have great feel. And it's really hard to judge feel by watching tape or watching them at the combine, which is why I think so many of the great ones do kind of pop up out of nowhere. So Kenyon Sadiq is a popular pick for the Panthers at 19. I will say I've watched an in-depth amount of tape because I'm a draft nerd of two tight ends. Of the two, Kenyon Sadiq's my second favorite. That's not he might be the second best tight end as far as what I settle on in the entire draft. But I like Stowers from Vanderbilt better. Sadiq is a better athlete. I think he'll run better. I think he'll have lower body fat. I think he'll jump higher. I think he'll do all of that. But Stowers, to me, looks like a basketball player. He looks like he has better body control. He looks like he has smoother movements. And I think that matters more in tight end. And by the way, I don't have a ton of confidence in myself evaluating tight ends because I don't have confidence in anybody evaluating tight ends. Matter of fact, there's one person on planet Earth that I trust evaluating tight ends. And it's whoever picks the tight ends for the University of Iowa. Because they pick them fantastically there. Pretty much everybody else I know and everybody else I talk to is well below the Mendoza line of evaluating tight ends. And when you're the Panthers and you're picking 19, that's different than picking in the top 10, right? When you're picking 19, I think you need to guarantee yourself a double as much as you can and hope for the home run. Picking a tight end in the first, I think, is swinging for the grand slam and risking a strikeout. Like, I don't think this team, with where their roster is, can afford a strikeout. And I'm not here yet. Don't get me wrong, I'm not here yet because it's a long time till the draft. I got a lot of tape to watch. I'm halfway to saying, like, get the best edge rusher or offensive tackle and just call it a day. Like, just be as high floor as you possibly can and move on. And that's not tight end. Unless there's somebody in your building, and maybe this is a Dan Morgan question, unless there's somebody in your building who is standing on the table screaming at you that Kenyon Sadiq is Trey McBride, that Kenyon Sadiq is Travis Kelce, or whoever your favorite, he's Vernon Davis, whoever your favorite tight end is, like this guy is that, I don't think you take him in the first round. Now, again, I'm going to double back to the same theory I have here. I don't think anybody was standing on the table saying those guys were those guys. You know what I mean? I think those, you kind of get lucky with them to have a true difference maker at tight end. So I like Tremble. I was really excited about Sanders, and maybe there's some of that excitement he can recapture with me if he puts it together and stays healthy. And Mitchell Evans is intriguing. If you're taking someone on the first 2 days of the draft, they better significantly leapfrog all three of them in some form or fashion.
Tommy Tremble, in the last year of his contract, has an $8 million cap hit. If they let him go, if they release him, you're saving $6 million against the cap. So if you find someone day two or feel like you can, or if there's someone in the free agent market that you feel like can be better to go with Evans and Sanders, then Tommy Tremble could be a cap casualty potentially in that regard. Because you have guys like, for example, Kyle Pitts, Dallas Goedert, David Njoku, Isaiah Likely, Cade Otton are all going to be free agents this upcoming year. Tyler Higbee. I mean, Cade Otton, familiar with Dave Canales in Tampa.
Cade Otton's a similar one. Or I mean, so many of the free agents are this way. Mm-hmm. Did they leapfrog the three you have somewhere?
Like, or is it just more of the same?
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to bring in another guy, even if you might think he's overall better. Like, does he block better than Mitchell Evans and Tommy Tremble and Jatavian Sanders? Does he catch passes better than Jatavian Sanders and Tommy Tremble and Mitchell Evans? Like, I don't want to bring in a guy that enters into a platoon with the guys you already have on the field. I might be comfortable low risk, high reward guys, right? Maybe you take someone that's like, a wide receiver that you hope to put on 30 pounds in the next 2 years and draft him in the 7th or something like that. Or rolling with these three. And like I said, you got to kind of get lucky. Or have just all the conviction in the world and have somebody, put their reputation on one of these guys being a great, and then, living with that. But you got to be that confident. And I'm not that confident in Sadiq. Although I will say this. Dude's going to be impressive at the combine. Dude is going to, if he does the combine, he's going to put on a show. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That's tight ends. We'll have another position group to handle tomorrow. As promised, we will open up the phone lines right now. Heister Automotive Group hotline is open for you to call in, 919-860-5326. If you've been a little trepidatious, a little cautious about calling in Monday Soundoffs in the past, this may be your chance. Obviously, with the weather the way it was and some icy conditions, a lot less people on the road, so maybe a little less competition. If you've been calling in and getting the busy signal, call in now. 919-860-5326. Heister Automotive Group hotline open right now for Monday Soundoff. 919-860-5326. Monday Soundoff coming up next.
Hey, folks, Dennis Cox here from my good friends over at Raleigh Weight Loss Center. I know you've heard me been talking about it for months with my journey with Raleigh Weight Loss Center and the weight that I've lost. Over 42 pounds, by the way. Over 15% of my body weight, thanks to Raleigh Weight Loss Center. But not only am I losing weight, there's so many other tangible things that I've noticed that I've improved in my life. Certainly, my clothes fit a lot better than what they used to. I actually have some old clothes I'm able to fit into, but my resting heart rate has gotten better. I'm sleeping a lot better. Also, I've noticed just the hips, ankles, knees are just feeling a lot less strain and pressure thanks to the weight weight loss. And I notice it when I go play hockey or if I ride my motorcycle, how much more comfortable I feel and just how much stronger I feel because of the weight that I've lost with Raleigh Weight Loss Center. And you can be also part of that journey as well, thanks to Raleigh Weight Loss Center. Give them a call, 919-897-7506, or visit RaleighWeightLossCenter.com. RaleighWeightLossCenter.com. Set up a free 15-minute phone consultation. Results may vary.
Move your sports day forward.
The goal for the Carolina Hurricanes in the remaining games before the Olympic break, simple. Replenish those reverse Uno cards. The tilting the ice and playing catch-up from allowing early goals or silly penalties needs to stop in the third period. Put the hammer down early. And please, please, please don't let Stanky or Jarvie go a game without a single shot.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
It's the playoffs, and honestly, your living room isn't ready for this. Your couch doesn't have award-winning wings, your fridge doesn't have 30 beers on tap, and your TV, oh, it's outnumbered. Carolina Ale House has wall-to-wall TVs. We've got homemade favorites, ice-cold beer, and enough screens to catch every game at once. So grab your crew, bring your appetite, and yell at the TV like a professional. Don't fumble your game day plans. Watch the playoffs at Carolina Ale House, where great sports deserve great food. Ale, yeah.
Never have I ever called my sister from the finish line of my first marathon.
Hello?
You won't believe where I am.
Are you running?
Mile 26. I'm gonna make it.
Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e with its advanced camera system on us. Plus, 2 lines for just $30 a line.
Guys, I can't believe it.
I knew you could do it, babe.
That was amazing. Mom, how do you feel?
I feel great. I can't feel my feet. Let's take a picture. And then you may carry me to the car.
Share every stride, every mile, every memory on America's best network. Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e on us and 2 lines for just $30 a line.
With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 eligible port-ins on Essentials 55 Plus for well-qualified customers with autopay plus taxes, fees, and $35 device connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us. Finance agreement 128 gigabytes, $599.99 required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data 1H 2025. Visit T-Mobile.com.
At First Carolina Bank, we pride ourselves on building relationships and doing the day-to-day things in banking extremely well. Experience the First Carolina way for yourself or your business today. Visit firstcarolinabank.com. First Carolina Bank, member FDIC.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. We've opened up the phone lines for a little Monday Soundoff. You can call in 919-860-5326. We want to hear from you on Carolina Panthers, Carolina Hurricanes, college basketball of every shape and sort, whatever's going on, NFL, Super Bowl, set, Drake May, Sam Darnold. What do you think? Heister Automotive Group hotline is open, 919-860-5326. We'll get things started with Jeff in Raleigh. Jeff in Raleigh wants to sound off on college basketball, and we'd love to hear from him. Jeff, welcome to the show. Go ahead and sound off. Jeff, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yep, we got you, Jeff. Go ahead and sound off.
Okay. What I wanted to say was, what a weekend for the ACC basketball with Duke, NC State, and North Carolina. I also wanted to just say I'm about ready to move back to West Virginia / Pittsburgh.
Okay.
And I'm telling you guys, you, Max, and especially you, I hear you on the weekends on ESPN. You guys are going places. You're like Bomani and Sean Penn and or not Sean, whatever.
Yep, Shannon.
And yeah, and all the Taylor Zarzar.
Hey, Jeff,
all these guys that used to be here in Raleigh, all the way back to Packer 20 years ago.
Jeff, I really appreciate that.
You guys are moving on up.
I will talk about the ACC point you made, and I will say very much thank you for the kind words there at the end. It was a really good weekend for ACC basketball, but we're at the point where every win for the ACC is also a loss for the ACC. These aren't non-conference games. I think there is a cream rising to the top sort of thing happening here with the top 8 or 9 teams, and then now it's about making sure that those 8 or 9 have enough wins and have enough metal to them to become legitimate like locks for the NCAA tournament. We can't have – the ACC can't have more years where it just becomes normal to have, 4 teams in the NCAA tournament. So looking at the reactions to the game over the weekend, the games, Duke obviously in. I think Carolina and Virginia have to make sure that they are in. Clemson getting the win over Georgia Tech, got to take care of business. Clemson has to be in. Louisville, they play Duke tonight, but they took care of business over the weekend against Virginia Tech. Louisville has to be in.
It's a heater of a game tonight.
Absolutely. NC State, I think, has to be in. They got to find a way to make sure those net rankings stay high. And then beyond there, SMU, maybe a Cal or a Stanford. Like, there has to be 8 teams in for the future health of the ACC. Let's go to Pat in Durham up next. Pat on the Heister Automotive Group hotline wants to sound off on NC State, their win over Pitt, and a little Sean Payton talk. So, Pat, take it in whichever direction you want to. The floor is yours.
Oh, thank you. I just got to give props to State. I was watching the game, and with about 5 minutes left, Pitt came back, took the lead, and last couple of years, that's losing time. But my props to my Wolfpack for turning that around to winning time. So I enjoyed that, and props to them. Mm-hmm. I have a question. I was just sitting back watching the Denver game. You have a quarterback that hadn't thrown an NFL pass since 23. You've got a 7-point lead, and it's 4th down and 1, and I heard Stephen A. comment on this today. First off, if you're going for it, I would have run the ball, but personally, I would have kicked the field goal. I know hindsight's 20/20. Common sense is 24/7 though, and you got the defense that's just killer, and I would have put them 2 scores down. Of course, I didn't know if they knew what was coming in the second half with all the weather. Mm-hmm. But still, and they said he shouldn't have called a timeout because when he did, it gave the coaching staff for New England a chance to know what they were going to run or be prepared for that pass. And I didn't like the pass play. I just like the straight run if you're going for it. Your opinion on that, and I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you very much. The decision-making from Sean Payton is very, very much 20/20 hindsight, right? Take the points, don't take the points, go for it on 4th. Here's the hard part, and I'm not absolving Sean Payton of it because obviously if you look back, and I had, like you, common sense 24/7. I had people in group chats going, I think that's going to come back to bite him. It's why there are no hard and fast rules. Right, when people talk about you never kick the field goal, you always go for it, advanced analytics. A coach really has to take in a bajillion factors, right? If weather is coming in and it's going to be at a premium the way it was in that second half, you darn right you take the points, right? If you know the wind, the snow, and everything is coming in, you have to consider that because there's so many different situations. It's not just as simple as they make it when you're watching Thursday Night Football and Amazon has like the Amazon Next Gen stats popping up and it's all like, the decision to go for it increases their chance to win by 2.0477 point percentage. And it's like, okay, yeah, but did you consider that, the coach walked up to the kicker and said, hey, what's your range? And he hesitated before he said 52 in the wind. Did you look him in the eye? Right? Did you take in the fact that whatever weather person they trust is jumping in the headset and saying, hey, it's actually not going to be that bad in the second half? Like, there's so many things going in. So, obviously, Sean Payton would love to go back and change 100 things that he did in that game because, quite frankly, the Patriots didn't do a ton to win that game. But without knowing all the information he was given, it's tough to know, which direction he should have gone. If they knew the weather was coming in, you got to take points 100 times. And it came quick, too. Did you see, watching the game when they showed, like, the field every quarter or whatever, and it was like, oh, nice green grass, fun day. And then it was like, oh, a little overcast. All of a sudden, it's like, boom, 2 inches of snow on the ground. Nobody can run. Oh, wow, that happened quick. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Heister Automotive Group hotline is open for your calls. 919-860-5326. I said it earlier. Not as many people out on the road today, so if you've always wanted to call in, normally our phone lines are a traffic jam, to use a car analogy. Today, a little bit more open and free. So if you want to call in, 919-860-5326, you have your chance. It is a Monday Soundoff here on The Drive. Next up, Isaiah in Wake Forest wants to sound off on a whole bunch of things. We'll give him the floor. Isaiah, welcome to the show. Go ahead and sound off.
Hey, thank you for taking my call. Hope y'all are doing well. So I'll start with the NBA and NFL Pro Bowl All-Star games.
Okay.
I was looking today on ESPN, and I saw that Shedeur Sanders is taking Drake May's place as a Pro Bowler. And I'm so disappointed. The Pro Bowl is a joke now. The All-Pros are just mid. And then the NBA All-Star game.
What do you have as a problem with All-Pros?
They had to add a category to get in Christian McCaffrey as a running back. There's 2 running backs usually. You don't have 3 in the All-Pro. And then they have 3 edge rushers. There should be 11 on defense and 11 on offense. Micah Parsons shouldn't have been an All-Pro this year. He was hurt half the season. Most seasons, sure, not this season.
Okay, those are fair gripes.
And then the NBA All-Star game, Team World's going to smoke Team USA. There's no competition on that. Like, it's not even going to be worth watching. And then with the Charlotte Hornets, really quickly, I think they're going to make the play-in. I'm confident in it now. They're currently destroying the 76ers right now, albeit Embiid and George are not playing. But still, I think they're improving. LaMelo Ball is positively impacting their team. And if they can just stay around 500, I think they can make the play-in. Thank you for taking my call.
All right. Well-organized call there. I'll address them all individually. One, the NFL doesn't even play the Pro Bowl anymore. Here's the thing that I think the Pro Bowl doesn't do that they should. That would fix, I think, some of the gripes that I have and that Isaiah has. They should just let everybody know who turned it down. I want to know, if you look at, the Browns, right? Did Rodgers turn it down? Did Lawrence turn it down? Did this guy turn it down? Because if Shedeur Sanders was like the 17th pick in the conference, that kind of makes sense. But I want to know that he wasn't picked over all these guys that were more like, did Cam Ward turn it down? Like we need to know because right now it does feel like that's just an undeserving Pro Bowl nod, which kind of defeats the purpose. All pros, I don't have as much problem with. Yes, some years the all-purpose back is going to feel like just an extra running back. But, if coaches are going to use hybrid positions, they're probably if Deebo Samuel gets an all-pro and he ran for 600 yards, should he take away a spot from a wide receiver that is a legit running routes every time and catches more impressively? It's a gripe, but I'm not as on board with that one. I just think all pros should count way more in legacy talks than Pro Bowls. Team World versus Team USA. The hilariousness. This is every fan I know, and I'm not making fun of Isaiah because I do it too. Nobody cares about the NBA All-Star game. But no, seriously, Team World is so much better than Team USA, and they're going to destroy them. The talent gap is gigantic. It's like, wait a second. If nobody cares, then Team USA might win because nobody's out there playing. We can't help but be drawn into all-star games when everybody's on the same kind of when you put all the best players on the same court or the same field, I think a lot of us are going to watch. And then his last point about the Hornets making the play-in, I hope so. I mean, whether they make the play-in tournament or not, Arrow pointed up so much excitement with the young guys. I don't think they're good enough to start making, I saw a bunch of trades for guys like Jaren Jackson Jr., DeAndre Ayton or something just to get a true center. I mean, if they're cheap, I'm not giving up any part of the future. I want to keep building this organically. If I'm the Hornets, building around LaMelo, obviously Con Knipple, Brandon Miller, and going from there. Back to the call-in line.
The Charlotte Hornets.
Goodness gracious. I don't know if my headphones were too loud there, but that snuck up on me. By the way,
just keeping you on your toes, Tim.
Hey,
just keeping you on your toes.
Letting everybody know the Charlotte Hornets. It's probably the loudest the Charlotte Hornets has been said on this show in a long time.
You're welcome.
Credit to them. I'm saying they've earned it. Heaster Automotive Group Hotline, 919-860-5326. I'll give you that number once again a little bit slower. 919-860-5326. We have John in Wake Forest. He is next up on the Heaster Automotive Group Hotline for a Monday Sound Off. Wants to sound off on the Carolina Hurricanes. John, welcome to the show. Go ahead and sound off.
Hey, what's going on, fellas? It's not a straight up upset, but I saw a report today that Eric Tolsky was talking to, I think his last name is Laviolette, Corey Laviolette, I think is his name.
Okay.
Saying that he was quoted as saying, truthfully, I don't think there's a clear need in regards to adding a piece to the team in a trade. He said we have one of the deepest teams in the league. I don't think there's a single spot in our lineup that's a must-fix crisis. While I think part of this, I'm hoping, is kind of a smokescreen or not wanting to get any of his players in the locker room nervous. If he truly means what he just said, I have to disagree because as much as I love Stankoven, he is not a 2C in my opinion right now. We need somebody bigger and more physical that can deal with somebody like Florida in the playoffs.
Okay. I appreciate the call, and that's from John in Wake Forest. Dennis, have you read Corey's reporting on this subject?
I have. So it's a two-part on North State Journal, so I've read part of it. I've read the first part. I haven't read the second part yet, but I definitely have read a good chunk of it so far.
Does he say that there's no obvious need or there's no need in a trade? I just want to make sure we're kind of giving Tolsky the, I don't want to say benefit of the doubt.
I'll go ahead and just read it for you straight here.
Perfect.
Actually, I have it pulled up. So this is the question that was asked by Corey Laviolette was, you often say the team can always get better until you have the 20 best players in the world on the ice for you. What would you say is your team's biggest need ahead of the trade deadline? Tolsky's answer, truthfully, I don't think there is a clear need. We have one of the deepest teams in the league. I don't think there's a single spot in our lineup that's a must-fix crisis. But as you say, there are always opportunities out there to get better. We are spending a lot of time right now exploring options and making sure we don't miss an opportunity to improve.
Okay.
So the term he used was there's, again, not a single spot in our lineup that's a must-fix crisis.
Okay. Appreciate the call. Appreciate bringing it up. And this will be a conversation that we have all the way up to the trade deadline. I think we have to give Tolsky a little bit of grace here. And what I mean by that is this is an ultimate smokescreen season. Like, what do you want him to do? Go out there and say it is a crisis that we need a second-line center and just have everyone in the league go, let's raise prices on our second-line center or our top-line center that we're willing to sell to them for a second line. Like, you can't show your cards too aggressively. Also, let's and this might be what John in Wake Forest doesn't like. Let's think about how the Canes operate. Eric Tolsky's like what do you call the thing you say when you pull the cord like on Woody in Toy Story, like there's a snake in my boot.
Yeah.
Like his pull string is until we have the 20 best skaters in the entire league, we are going to continue to try to get better. I don't think you have to question whether Eric Tolsky is chasing the big fish or trying to do the big move. Let's not forget, this is the dude that traded for Mikko Rantanen and then traded Mikko Rantanen away. And he was in the front office that traded for Jake Gensel. Like, I think he gets that the forwards could use that headlining top line name. And if it is a center, obviously second line would be a nice little spot to slide that player in. But it is not truly, I mean, how can it be? And I don't, listen. This will be my official deal on it. I think he's accurate in saying there's no crisis, right? It's one thing to say like, oh, we'd like to get better at this position. It's another to say it's a crisis, right? Like, oh, if we don't do this, we don't have a chance. I think there are moves they can make that would increase their chances of winning a cup a good amount. But I don't think they have a 0% chance or a negligible percent chance of winning the cup as it is right now. Like, let's not forget, they are top of the Metropolitan. They are top of the Eastern Conference. It would be real like Chicken Little running around with your head, not your head cut off. That's not how Chicken Little works. Running around saying that the sky is falling, the sky is falling. If you're running around saying our roster is in a crisis, oh, by the way, we are leading the conference. So I think there's shades of gray there. But yeah, like if you want to trade for a second line center, I'm not going to complain about this thing at all. If you want to be able to move Logan Stankoven back to a winger, I'm A-okay with it. A-okay with it. Because that means you got somebody better to play second line center. Let's go to Micah in Morrisville. He heard Canes talk. It's like the bat signal for Micah. Micah, welcome back to the show. Go ahead and sound off on the Carolina Hurricanes.
Yeah, I second. I don't remember that guy's name from Wake Forest, but to be honest, like, and I think we've spoke about this before, but like right now, if the Canes go into the playoffs with Jankowski as their 4C and Stankoven as their 2C, they're not going to win the cup. And that, I mean, like, you can look at all the cup teams the past however many years you want. Look at all their centers. Like, no one has a 5'8" center at 2C. Fine. Like, he's a hard worker. He's gritty. Yeah, sure. But, like, at the end of the day, like, you need size. They're gonna line up against the Panthers might not make it, but Logan Stankoven will be matched up against Sam Bennett. How is that going to go in a 7-game series? That's going to turn out awful. Just like it has the past few years. But, I mean, yeah, they just need to get bigger. I mean, that's kind of just a point that we continue to say. It hasn't really happened. But I also want to say that Nadeau, like, with all these trade talks, like, I feel like Nadeau, I'm going to be upset if we trade him because I feel like he is the pure goal scorer that we've been lacking or has the potential to be. Like, he's lighting the AHL up again with goals. His one-timer is insane. It would immediately help the power play. Like, obviously, Blake and Stankoven on the team with their contracts, it pretty much makes Nadeau's spot invisible, and I'm not sure if he'll be on the Canes roster ever. So I just wish there was a way for him to be on the roster, and, yeah, we need to get bigger, and that's all.
All right, appreciate it. There's a few things there. And, Micah, you know, we always appreciate your contributions. You have to understand who you're talking to, right? The Carolina Hurricanes, move after move after move, have kind of shown you that they aren't as infatuated with size as most hockey teams or most hockey fans are. So, yeah, like if you're somebody that values size a whole bunch, I don't know if there's ever going to be a time where you look at the Carolina Hurricanes roster and go, love it. They're all 6'3", 210 plus. Like that, if it's actually maybe the gift and the curse of the way they think. If you don't value size as much as everybody else, you're going to be able to get steals at 180 pounds because they're going to keep falling to you because everybody else is going to keep drafting or keep signing the bigger guys. If you're somebody that likes size, you're probably just not going to like the Canes roster a good amount of the time. Secondly, I don't know how you can sit back and say you love size and then go, I need you to bring up Bradley Nadeau. Bradley Nadeau is what, 5'9", 180 pounds himself? That's – you see what I'm doing here? Like it's there's both sides there. Listen, and actually I'm somebody that I'm coming around more on the size thing. I'm a huge fan of some of the smaller guys on the Canes, but I do think if they make a giant move for somebody, it's not the time now to skimp on to say like, oh, we have everything except for a little bit extra height and weight. So we'll make the move. I think that should be one of the priorities. But I also recognize who I'm talking to. Right? I also recognize that it's not the easiest thing in the world to go find somebody that checks every single box. And if there's let's make this a thought experiment here quickly at the end of a Monday Sound Off. Let's say you go in to a draft or you go into a trade or you go into free agency. Anytime you're acquiring a player and you're hoping it's a center. And you have, I'm just going to pick a nice round number, 20 things you're hoping for in that center, right? You want them to be 6'2" or taller. You want them to be 200 pounds or heavier. You want them to have, great passing ability, great stick handling. You want them to be good in the face-off circle. You want them to be good defensively. You want them to be physical. You want them to have a proof of goal scoring at whatever level you're drafting them from, overseas or college. You want them to have all of these things. And you realize there's no perfect prospect. Everyone will have to go with, all right, we got 17 out of 20. That's pretty good. Or we got 16 out of 20. If you're the Canes, don't you think one of those 3 or 4 that you're pretty comfortable with them not having is size? because they've been cool with Stankoven and Blake and Aho and Jarvis and all of these guys that are probably underrated by the league because they're a little bit smaller. And on and on and on and on. So I'm not saying anybody is wrong in saying you want, go get a second line center that's 6'3" and does this and all that. Like, I hear you. I just don't want you to get your hopes up.
Yeah, expect to pay a premium price.
Also true.
For that, because we mention how, hey, to go get a premium player, you got to pay a premium price. And we mention that, you're like, well, why would you give that guy up? I'm like, well, you want this, don't you?
Yeah.
Right?
To go back to the checklist, if you want a 20 out of 20 player, you want every box checked, you better bring your pocketbook. You better loosen those purse strings, and it's going to be players who you don't want to see leave, right? To sit back. And again, Micah is cool with the show, so I know he knows I won't take this personally. But to sit back and say things like, if you don't get a second-line center that has the size to battle with Sam Bennett and good and this and skilled and that, and then to the second part of the conversation be, I really hope they don't get rid of Bradley Nadeau. It's like, well, if you're going after a true stud, it's going to be picks, it's probably going to be starters, and it's probably going to be Bradley Nadeau. Like, you can't have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah, Nadeau's listed at 5'11", 172. Jackson Blake's 5'11", 185.
It's like, don't give up Nikishin, don't give up Svech, don't give up Nadeau, don't give up this, don't give up that, and trade for Jason Robertson. It's like, and Jason Robertson's small. I should have used a different example there. It's tough. And by the way, don't sell, like,
Robertson's not that small. He's 6'3", 204.
That's bigger than I thought. Yeah. Never mind. Go get Robertson. But again, price. Especially with how much he's scoring the puck this year. Not an Olympian, though. Discount. As always, with every trade deadline, like, I don't think people were really upset with last year's trade deadline. It was a gigantic swing, and then they had to kind of pivot and salvage. Like, wait till it comes before you start yelling about, like, Tulski said there's nothing they need. It's like, well, yeah, when you walk into a car dealership to buy a car and they're like, oh, you need a new car? What do you say? Like, no, actually, we're just looking. Right? Your car might be totaled, right? You might need a ride to work in the morning. You're just checking it out, right? You don't want everybody to know you're desperate. You want to protect yourself a little bit in the leverage front. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Thank you to everybody, as always, for calling in during a little Monday Soundoff. We'll do it again next week. In the meantime, when we come back, NC State basketball got a win at Pitt on Saturday at noon, same time everyone else was playing. How important was it for NC State? Stick around.
Dennis Cox here real quick for Loan Pronto. Low mortgage rates, they're back, folks. Loan Pronto is fixed-rate mortgages with APRs as low as 4.89%, the lowest in years. Smart homeowners are taking advantage of this. If you got stuck in a 6% loan, you could lower your payment big time, or you can keep your primary mortgage intact and get cash out of your equity with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. One homeowner just got $250,000 out of their home. They paid off all their credit cards and some car loans and cut their monthly expenses by $2,000. Call now and see what option works best for you. Ask about new home loans, VA loans, full cash out refis, or their famous Rapid Equity Loan. You can close in less than 2 weeks, and you may be able to skip your next 2 house payments altogether. Call 919-381-1760 or visit loanpronto.com for your free instant home appraisal with no hard credit pull. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 166171, APR for well-qualified buyers. Visit NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Listen for the oh my goodness.
Sears pulls up left wing 3. Ring it up. A dagger. A dagger by Sears.
They got postered.
Rebound battled for. Picked down Badunga. Rejected emphatically by Coleman Hawkins.
What in the what?
Maddox for Xavier. He'll throw a bounce pass in the lane for a two-handed jam.
The road to Indianapolis runs through 99.9 The Fan.
Save more on the brands pros trust at Lowe's. Right now, get up to 35% off select major appliances and choose from our wide lineup of top brands. Plus, save $100 on a Little Giant 22-foot multi-position ladder. Now just $189. Built for strength, flexibility, and job site versatility. Pros, these savings will only be here for a limited time. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 1/30 while supplies last. Selection varies by location. See Lowe's.com for more details.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. JD Power ranks Sleep Number #1 in customer satisfaction with mattresses purchased in-store and online. And now, the more you buy, the more you save on beds, bases, and more. Limited time. For JD Power 2025 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. Check it out at the Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com today.
Progressive knows life takes you in many directions.
Bear right at exit 32, then begin to wonder why you never bought a fish tank. In 1.3 miles, you'll realize you've been mispronouncing epitome your whole life. At the roundabout, you will remember you said something at dinner you wish you hadn't and will think about it for decades. You have arrived at your destination, but it turns out there really is no destination and life just keeps going.
Wherever life takes you, protect your home and auto with a bundle from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
This hour of the drive is brought to you by Law Tigers. Injured in a motorcycle accident? Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS before you call your insurance company. Case evaluations are always free, and you don't pay a dime until your case settles. Law Tigers, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers.
Copeland in the backcourt. Brings the ball center of the floor. Accelerator down to the high post. Kicks it up to McNeil up top. He lets another one fly.
Hey!
He got it! A swish top of the arc. Paul McNeil's fifth three. Pack bench erupts.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We're getting ready to talk some college basketball, so before we look back, let's look forward a bit. Tonight, Duke, number 4 in the country as of today's AP poll update. They were number 5 last week. Will take on Louisville, who's number 20 in the country after being 23 last week, so they've bumped up a little bit. Top 20 matchup. That'll be on Buzz Sports Radio, our sister station. Here on 99.9 The Fan, another gigantic game. BYU, Arizona. That is the 13th ranked team in the country against the number 1 ranked team in the country, Arizona. And it's not just any run-of-the-mill 13 versus 1, because number 13 has A.J. DeBonsa, who is coming off a 40-burger, had 43 points in their last game, a win over Utah.
43,
goodness. He is in the mix with Cam Boozer, Darren Peterson, and one or two others for the number 1 overall pick. And then Arizona is a unanimous number 1 overall. That doesn't happen as often as you think it would. That is everybody agrees you are number 1 overall. So that is a really fun game you can hear here on 99.9 The Fan. And again, Duke Louisville will be on Buzz. If you're looking for other updates from the updated AP poll, UNC got a nice boost. People really like that win over Virginia. They're up to 16th in the country. They were 22nd last week. UVA, loss didn't hurt them as much as maybe like UNC got a big boost. UVA only a little knockdown. They went from 14th to 17th in the country. Clemson fell to 22nd. They were 18th. And NC State is 7th in the also receiving votes category. They have 8 votes. So NC State in the mix there, just off the list.
So yeah, puts them like 32nd in the country.
Correct.
Which I think that's fair for them.
I think
that's fair.
I don't know if this is how everybody else thinks about it, but it does seem like the true diehard college basketball world is still in wait and see mode on NC State. They're like, we'll keep them like also receiving votes. It's like purgatory. It's like we're going to leave them in limbo. We haven't decided yet if we want to bump them up into the top 25 or if we want to banish them and say, this year isn't what we thought it was. There's just like a real wait and see element. And I'm not convinced that isn't the right way to think about this team. Right? I know that there were promises made and high expectations and everything else, but they are still just a team that has a bananas amount of new, and they're putting it together maybe slowly. Let's talk about the win at Pitt. Okay, they won Saturday noon at Pitt, 81-72. It is, it's like as ho-hum a win as you can have in the ACC. On the road against a team you should beat, you won by 9. Right? It's not a double-digit win, but it's a 9-point win, right? It's your best player didn't play great if you think your best player is Darian Williams, which, at least coming into the season, he was ACC preseason player of the year. Didn't play great, but darn near everyone else played their role fantastically. Will Wade's probably not the proud papa of the team he put together, super excited, but after that game, he's probably not yelling and screaming like we've seen at times this year either. They're just wait and see mode. And you hope you don't have many games where Darian Williams isn't having a super impactful game, but if he does, this is a good example of how you can still find a way to be effective. Let's look at the kind of main 6-person rotation for State. Darian Williams, 7 kind of inefficient points, played 26 minutes. Okay, it was not his most impactful, to say the least. Then Allen Lubin, 17 points and a double-double, give him 12 rebounds. And efficient offense, right? That guy's becoming their metronome. He's their steady. He's their constant. He's their, well, at least we know we have Van Allen. 15 from Paul McNeil. That's great, but if you watch the game, the thing that he does is provide spacing. 5 of 9 from 3. If he shoots above 50% from 3, that is gigantic. If he shoots above 50% from 3 on 9 attempts or more, heck, keep shooting at that rate. But it provides something to their offense that guys like Lubin, guys like Copeland, guys like Williams, Holloman, especially Abel, they kind of need, right? You need space to do so many other things. He provides it. Kadir Copeland continues. 20 points. I'm so pleasantly surprised every time I see him put up an offensive game like this, because the scouting report that I was given and from the few times I watched him at Syracuse and McNeese is that he made his biggest impact on the defensive side of the floor. 20 points in an ACC game is huge. And guess what? He's a point guard. He may be 6'6", but he is that main ball handler. 9 assists. 9. Playing his role very, very well. Holloman still kind of playing his way back in after dealing with the injury. Did start, but played just 22 minutes, had 10 points. And then Matt Abel. I continue to be impressed by this guy. Big dunk down the baseline. Came off the bench. Did exactly what I've been saying he does so well, which is just provide more, for lack of a better term, zoom when he comes in, right? You kind of get lulled to sleep by some of the veteran, wily guys that are in the starting lineup for State, and then he gets the ball and that quick first step, and he's elevating, and it's like, ooh, that's different. That's what it's going to take, right? My favorite stat going into the weekend was that NC State was 10-1 when Darian Williams had a over 23% usage rate, and they were 2-5 when he didn't. Well, those 2, and I believe now 3 wins that they've gotten when he's not the ball-dominant, high-usage guy, they come when everybody else is a star in their role. So that win, it's a blueprint for them if they're going to, not force Darian Williams onto their opponents. And it also shows that, he doesn't have to be a superhero every game. Super Darian, if that's something he wants to go trademark and sell for NIL. There's always that. And then another game I want to get to quickly here, and we'll double back on most of these here during the starting 5 at the beginning of next hour. But Duke, number 5 in the country at the time, number 4 now, beat Wake by, 21 on Saturday? On-air math, let's go. This is their Max Scherzer game. I always say Max Scherzer was the best pitcher I've seen at showing up, and I feel like he knew in warm-ups. Like, I don't got my A stuff here, fellas, right? I can't locate the breaking ball. Fastball is doing its own thing, and then he'd walk off the mound, 7 2/3, 2 runs allowed, sprinkled 6 hits, struck out 9, and it's like, how did you do that with your C game? I don't think Duke had their best stuff on Saturday. And who knows, maybe it was because they were, everything was scheduled to start at 6 p.m. and it started at noon, and who knows? But I don't think they had their good stuff. I didn't think they played that well. I think they settled for too many threes, particularly early, and didn't make them at a high rate, particularly early. Juke Harris was able to do some things. Trayvon Spillers knocked down some threes early. I'm talking for Wake. Dame Sarr got into foul trouble. It just, for whatever reason, wasn't a strong game, and they won by 21 over a team that came into the game ranked 65th in the net rankings. And they covered a 17.5-point spread in ACC play. I don't think Cameron Boozer had his A game. He finished with 30-something, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals, and shot over 50%. Please let us all have bad days that are that good. I think some of it was a little fraudulent, like 9 rebounds, but I think more than 1 or 2 of them were what's been called me bounds, right? You miss a little layup, you miss a tip in, you get the rebound back, you miss it again, you get the rebound back, you make the shot, you get 2 points, 3 rebounds in a day. Like, okay. But still, it's 30-something, 9, 4, and 3 steals. That's a Max Scherzer game, right? You walk out there going, I didn't have my good stuff there. 7 2/3, got the win, team's happy with you. They're playing Louisville tonight. Different beast. I don't think you can Max Scherzer your way through, the top of the ACC, maybe the middle of the ACC, but they're gonna have to play better than they played against Wake if they want to beat Louisville. By the way, that game's on and running, right? I haven't seen anything that would make me believe that there's any kind of a delay or really any worry of it. So, home game for Duke, 7:00 opening tip, and they're, again, pretty big favorites in this one, 8.5 as it stands right now. The ESPN matchup predictor has them at 77.3% the winner. But Louisville can shoot it, or at least the reputation for their players are they can shoot it, so you always got to worry about that. One of the top-scoring teams in the ACC. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, and that game, as I said at the beginning, will be on Buzz Sports Radio. Number 4 in the country, Duke, hosting number 20, Louisville, here on 99.9 The Fan. Number 13, BYU, and number 1, Arizona. Next here on The Fan, the starting 5. Don't go anywhere.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
The Buffalo Bills have fired head coach Sean McDermott. Sean McDermott did an awesome job in Buffalo, but not good enough. And we have been saying this all year. Sean McDermott should be the coach of an NFL team next year. It should just not be the Buffalo Bills. They have to get someone to win now.
Unsportsmanlike.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
It's bow time.
A leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $6.99.
Leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $6.99.
So crispy.
So crispy.
And juicy.
And juicy.
So much flavor.
So much.
Stop it. What are you doing?
What? You expect me to get this delicious deal and not say anything?
You're unbelievable.
You're unbelievable.
With a boldly seasoned leg and thigh, choice of fixin', a biscuit, and legendary iced tea, it's a deal so good it's worth repeating. So eat and repeat while it lasts. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time, and there's no time like now to stop what you're doing and join with the K-Yow Cancer Fund in the fight against all cancers affecting women. I'm Jenny Palmentier, CEO of the K-Yow Cancer Fund. From now through January 31st, Triangle Area Bojangles will donate all proceeds from Bowberry biscuit sales to the K-Yow Cancer Fund. Just buy a Bowberry, do some good, and get something good. So what are you waiting for? Hurry, it's bow time.
Tired of hearing this from your local tire place?
Sorry, we can't fix it. Take it to Dauntless.
This year, skip the middleman and take your car straight to Dauntless Transmissions if you want quality work done right the first time. Transmissions, engine, or brake work, or just a regular tune-up. If it's broke, Dauntless will fix it. For quality work done with the kind of experience that works for you, take it to Dauntless Transmissions first. Go to DauntlessTransmissions.com to book your visit today. Dauntless Transmissions, your local source for exceptional service.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Big truck accidents can cause life-changing injuries, and life-changing injuries deserve life-changing money. I know big truck wrecks, and I know how to fight those big insurance companies. If you've been hurt by a big truck, contact us at ritchielaw.com. I'm on top of it.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Kat Campbell. 12 degrees, our forecast low for tonight, and we could see our wind chills dip into the single digits. Make sure that you are bundling up. Tuesday, it's sunny with a high of 40. Wednesday, we're back in the upper 30s under partly cloudy skies.
5 o'clock check of your money. The Dow Jones at the closing bell today, up 313 points to 49,412.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting five.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time for the starting five. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Let's start with number 5.
Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Stevenson left alone, left side 3. Count it! Stevenson again!
By the way, today's starting five is brought to you by Ritchie Law Firm, Injury Lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com. That's RICCI, law.com. You heard the highlight there. Let's talk a little college basketball from this past weekend to start off the starting five, beginning with the North Carolina Tar Heels, who, one of their biggest wins of the season, and really one of their biggest opportunities for a win this year, and they seized it. Not saying it was beautiful, but once they got down by 16, you could say it was beautiful because they stormed back and got the win 85-80. When you're the committee for the NCAA tournament, I do think there are certain statistical arguments. Quad 1 matters. This is obviously a Quad 1 game. But I also think there are certain stereotype games that you want to make sure are possible. Road environment, I think, matters. Bouncing back from adversity, I think, matters. I think you're looking for metal. I think you're looking for storylines. I think you're looking for all of that, and I think UNC offered all of that against Virginia. And I will I already said it once, but just in case some Tar Heel fans weren't listening out there, and I want to make sure everybody, gets their equal play. I said on Friday I hope to eat some words about UNC. I am eating my words about UNC after this game. I did not think they could win that game the way they won it. I thought Carolina had painted themselves into a really, really narrow path to winning big games. I thought the way their backcourt was playing, the way they were defending, the way you could have players play 28 minutes and almost have very little impact on the game on the perimeter. I thought their path was simple. Either you got superhuman performances from Wilson and Vesar and just enough from your backcourt to win, or you weren't going to win. Well, Vesar, foul trouble, ineffectiveness, whatever. 7 points, very few rebounds. They won anyway. Caleb Wilson scored, right? He got his 20 or whatever, but didn't do as much of the stat sheet stuffing that we're used to, and they won anyway. That's a feather in their cap that I wasn't sure they were going to get. So, I'll raise my hand and say thanks for proving me wrong. Derek Dixon and Luka Bogovic and Jaron Stevenson, who had a big game in limited minutes. But even more so, actually not even more so, I think that's the most important part, that the backcourt is putting something together, right? That's the most important part. But in addition to, I like the fight, the anger, and all that. And this actually came about from their Notre Dame game. So the game previous to the Virginia game, they played Notre Dame. And Micah Shrewsbury, head coach of Notre Dame, was on the ACC coaches call. And he gave, and I wasn't on the call, so credit to the reporters that passed this along. Caleb Wilson has the weird chip on the shoulder thing. Where if you disrespected him once or there's a perceived slight, he has a memory like an elephant. Micah Shrewsbury said after UNC beat Notre Dame on Wednesday, Wilson reminded Shrewsbury in the handshake line that they cut him from the USA Basketball Junior National U18 team back in 2024. And he let Shrewsbury know, thanks for motivating me.
I respect that so much.
I love it. I love it so much. And then to put on top of that, right, like, the next game, they're at Virginia. They're down 16, and we've heard so much about how Caleb Wilson is the emotional leader of that team, and he's already leading in practice, even though he's a freshman. And it kind of, as that team goes, he goes. Yeah, you get it, right? He's a guy that's, 4 bad games or a downturn from this team isn't gonna. It's not gonna rock him, right? Not gonna rattle him. 2024, he's still making amends for disrespects from years ago. By the way, he had 22 and 7, 5 assists, a steal, and a block against Notre Dame. Shrewsbury probably should have put him on the team in 2024. Elsewhere in college basketball over the weekend, just quickly here, we just talked about him, but State beat Pitt 81-72 on Saturday. That was on the road. Hey, can't prove consistency unless you get 2 in a row.
They got Syracuse at home tomorrow.
Syracuse at home. It's not, if I remember correctly, their ACC schedule isn't a gauntlet over the next few. They get Syracuse at Wake Forest, then at SMU. They have at times been pretty good. Versus Virginia Tech. So, this is a stretch to put together a bunch of wins. Like I said, the ACC needs NC State in the NCAA tournament. I think they're trending that way, but, can't lose games you shouldn't lose.
They are currently 5-2 in conference, NC State, which I think is good for tie for third because
5-2 in the conference, correct?
Because Duke's at top of 7-0. I think Clemson's 7-1 in the ACC. Lone loss being to State.
All right, now you got me curious. I'll bring it up real quick here. The ACC: Duke first 7-0, Clemson 7-1, Virginia, Miami, and State all tied at 5-2.
Look at Miami.
SMU 4-3, Carolina 4-3, Louisville 4-3. I mean, that would actually work out kind of well because I think SMU, Carolina, and Louisville are amongst the teams that have the best NCAA tournament kind of vibes. If Miami State are above them, then it's like, I guess you're gonna have to put in all 8 of them. This is crazy, and I'm not on the committee. What was it, 2 years ago? I was saying, like, during bold predictions, like, the ACC will get 4 teams in the NCAA tournament because I was being optimistic, right? Yeah, it was like 5? Whoa, how bold are you going to get? I think we're going to, like, realistically start at 8 if we were doing that debate right now. Right?
Yeah, I think 8's real.
To get to bold, you probably got to throw, like, 10. That's a much healthier conference than it was in the past. Duke also won over the weekend. Wake Forest came to town. They won by 21. That's number 5. Let's get to number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, all together.
Quickly to the line. Here's the snap. Mensah to throw. Oh, he's got his man on the right. Guess who? It's Barkate for the touchdown. And for Cooper, that's touchdown number 7. And quickly the Blue Devils strike, and they've got the lead for the first time.
So we have the latest on the Darian Mensah circus for Duke. As it currently stands, the temporary restraining order, which was granted as part of the lawsuit that Duke filed against Darian Mensah to uphold the multi-year exclusive rights NIL contract that he had signed with Duke before this past season, the TRO, the temporary restraining order, prevents Mensah from enrolling at any other school. So, although they couldn't stop him from entering the transfer portal, which he has done, he can't enroll anywhere else, which pretty much does the same thing. Darian Mensah has asked for a emergency speed up to the hearing or injunction that will be held February 2nd. It got bumped up to January 29th. That's kind of where it stands officially. Sources told 247 Sports, a couple of their reporters, Duke and Darian Mensah's camp continue to be in contact and are working to try and find a resolution outside of court that would allow Mensah to transfer to another school. I think it's just cash. How much would it take Duke to say, okay, this outcome now makes us comfortable that if we engage into these agreements with anybody else in the future, they will be deterred from doing what you're doing, right? Because That's got to be what it's all about. I don't think at this point, barring some kind of like real different relationship than we're aware of, I can't imagine Duke really wants Darian Mensah back, right? Because football is still like a sport about sacrifice, right? You still have to do what the coach asks. You still have to work very hard. You still have to put your body on the line. You still have to play through injuries. You still have to do all of these things kind of selfless, even if you are the most ego-filled position at quarterback. So once you kind of not only try to leave a team, but try to burn the bridge behind you, it's really tough to welcome that person back onto the team. But at the same time, Duke can't just go, all right, fine, give us $2 million and you can walk. Because then if they engage in a multi-year contract with someone else in the future, they know, like, oh, we can just get out if we give them a little bit of cash, and if I'm making way more at my next stop, it's good business. So they need to get enough money from Darian Mensah that it is a pretty significant deterrent from anyone in the future to do what Darian Mensah is doing to Duke. And then on top of that, they could use that money to, bolster their roster and do everything else. I don't pretend to be a lawyer, so don't quote all of what I just said as fact. I'm just trying to read the tea leaves. I'm trying to see, when somebody tells me that sources are telling 247 Sports that they are in contact and working to try and find a resolution outside of court that would allow Mensah to transfer to another school, there's got to be a number that I'm just thinking, there's got to be a number that Duke would go, all right, yeah, pay us that and we'll let you go. And Mensah hasn't offered it yet, or Mensah's representation, or whoever hasn't reached that number. And also keep in mind that in Mensah's filing of the please speed up the process emergency filing last week, he said that the teams that are interested in him as to be their quarterback next year, to be, a football player at their team next year, he said that interest would go away if he wasn't eligible to join their school on Friday. Just an interesting point. Needless to say, messier than I think everybody hoped it would be. We'll see. We'll keep you updated. It is kind of my personal guilty pleasure reality show. This is like my Real Housewives of whatever. It's like real quarterbacks of college football, and I'm fascinated by it. That's number 4. Let's get to number 3.
14th play. McVay racing down the sideline. Stafford gets it off. 4th down, looking end zone. He fires. It is incomplete. Underneath the crossbar, T. Ferg the target. Well defended by Witherspoon on 3rd and 4th down. He's the defensive hero.
The Super Bowl is set. Seattle, higher seed. Patriots, the up-and-coming contender. How crazy is that? The Patriots, upstart that kind of everybody's rooting for against the established Seattle Seahawks, quarterbacked by Sam Darnold. It's a weird Super Bowl. It is. It just is. I believe they were both at least 50-1, 60-1 shots. I think I saw at the beginning of the year.
Were they really?
It's according to betting odds the most unlikely Super Bowl in a very long time, if not ever. As far as like what everybody expected of them and what the gamblers expected of them preseason. It also is a lot of ties to our area, right? Obviously, Drake May played at Carolina, from Charlotte, grew up a massive Panthers fan. I read that this will be the second Super Bowl that Drake May attends. The first being when Cam Newton was the MVP and they made it to the Super Bowl. He and his dad didn't have tickets, just went to town hoping to find him, found some tickets, watched the game. I think he was 13 at the time.
Ironically, at Levi Stadium.
Exactly. So familiar with the area. I'm guessing his dad will have an easier time getting tickets to this one. And all of his brothers and the whole herd of Mays that kind of go everywhere with him. And then also on the other side, Sam Darnold, right? He was a Carolina Panther for a couple of seasons. I would say for better or worse, but for mostly it was for worse. It wasn't the prettiest time of Panthers football. And I'm going to try to get ahead of this just because I know it's going to be said. There's going to be so many pictures posted over the next 2 weeks, and especially if Sam Darnold plays well and they win, so many pictures of him in a Panthers uniform going like, how'd we let him leave? Bryce haters will use it to like, we could have had him. Instead, we have 5'10" and an eighth.
Jets fans.
Jets
feel
fans.
like we have Justin Fields. We had Zach Wilson. We had whom else?
Yeah, I mean, I hear you. Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I hear you.
San Francisco 49ers, like, we had a Super Bowl winning quarterback on our roster.
Unless you were going to bring him back, meaning after Minnesota, bring him back to Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be clear. You did not move on from the Sam Darnold that made it to the Super Bowl.
No.
You moved on from the Sam Darnold before. Remember when coaches, they'd get fired somewhere and they'd go spend, I used to call it the Nick Saban's home for fired football coaches. They would go be like an offensive analyst for Alabama for a year, and then they would come out much better coaches. They would take some group of 5 job and light it up, and they'd be back head coaches at power conferences 3 years later, and it'd be like, oh, they just needed to see how Saban operated. The same thing happens for like 2 or 3 offensive minds to quarterbacks in the NFL, and Kyle Shanahan's one of them. You go do like your benched quarterback's year as a backup for Kyle Shanahan, and you just come out a much better quarterback. Or, bench, you go do your 6 weeks like Baker Mayfield did with a Sean McVay offense, and you come out like rehabbed. Sam Darnold needed to go be a backup for Shanahan. He needed to go play for Kevin O'Connell to now be this good with Jackson Smith and Jigba. Right? So the Panthers didn't have this guy. Don't think you let this guy walk. You let a guy that was throwing more interceptions than he had any business throwing for Carolina walk. And then, I mean, if you're the Patriots, it's got to be kind of gross, right? Like, think of how fortunate they are that Drake May is who Drake May is. He was the 3rd quarterback drafted in that draft class. 3rd quarterbacks don't have a great hit rate as far as going on to be all pros or going on to be Pro Bowlers or going on to be MVP candidates. But sure enough, the year they need a quarterback, they're picking in the top 3. They get the 3rd one, and it's Drake May. That's, I don't want to say lucky, but it's not how it goes for most teams searching for quarterbacks. I'll tell you that much. That's number 3. How about number 2?
Just the 2 of us.
On the left, Hamenya. Up top, Boozer. To the right, Evans. He knows the moment. How about a 3? Give it to him!
Duke tonight against Louisville. 7 o'clock opening tip. It is a home game for Duke. I believe it's going on as scheduled.
Yep, 7 o'clock.
This is a big one in the ACC, which is a little maybe, I don't want to say less big, but Louisville is 4-3 in conference. They were championed preseason as the 2nd best team in the ACC. And the crazy part is I'm not wholly sure that by the end that won't be right, but it just, like we said earlier, it shows how the ACC is significantly better than it was in years past, right? If you're a good team but you're putting it together, you're not going to be able to just cruise through, right? You're going to lose. Teams will beat you.
Yeah, Louisville kind of sneaky needs this.
They need to look good.
Yeah, because they lost to Virginia at home 79-70. They beat Pitt. They beat Virginia Tech. They've lost to Duke once already.
Yep.
And then they've actually lost to Stanford, or they beat Cal. So they I don't know. They kind of need a good win on their resume. They lost to Arkansas earlier in the year as well. I know they beat Kentucky, but they kind of need one here.
No, you're exactly right. The only thing I will say to kind of defend that is they also beat Indiana when they were ranked. But
that's true.
For whatever reason, and I wonder if the ACC is going to stop doing it, teams have a really hard time beating both Cal and Stanford when they go out and do that 2-game on-the-road stretch, right? They've scheduled it to make it less like super cross-country travel, that if you're on the road at Cal, the next game you're on the road at Stanford, so you're not crisscrossing. And I think Duke is still the only team to win both of those games. And you don't want, like, a Louisville for the ACC shouldn't just be like, well, you're going to win one, you're going to lose one. They can't afford to just give away wins because you not only need Louisville to be good, you need them to be like, a top 4 seed in the tournament to have strength of the conference. With that being said, I still believe that Duke can bully them a little bit. I'll give you this. Trayvon Spillers for Wake. Most games I watch Wake Forest, I go, wow, Spillers is a strong dude, right? He's not the tallest guy, but he plays well down low because he's physical and he can kind of, lean on strength and explosiveness rather than pure height and wingspan. When he stands next to Cam Boozer or Patrick Gungba, he's not, right? It's like, oh, never mind. He's not that strong, or he's not that big. He's not that broad. That's something that Duke has that they can lean on. And if you play a team that's very guard dominant, like Louisville is, I almost think like more so, right? It's like when a brawler gets caught up with like a speed boxer, and it's like, well, if he gets you cornered, he's just gonna body blow, try to wail on you, right? I think Duke has that ability against Louisville, and Louisville's gonna have to try to stick and move, right? They got to knock down some threes and keep the pace up if they're gonna have a chance against this one. Again, what is it? A 8.5 point spread for Duke.
By the way, Louisville's 17th in the net rankings. Duke is 3rd in the net rankings.
So it's a very high quad one for both.
Yeah, for both teams.
It would be, not an exaggeration, likely the best win in the country if Louisville gets it.
Yeah,
because
be one of them.
The top few teams don't lose often, and they darn sure don't lose at home often. So, I'm not saying anything new to Duke, just like every blue blood. Like, they're gonna circle this one on their calendar, and they're gonna do everything they can to beat you because it changes their season. But they're used to that. That's number 2. And by the way, you can hear that on Buzz Sports Radio, our sister station, tonight. That's number 2. Let's get to number 1.
Go wide! Blake goes rink wide for Hall. Hall drifts with a shot. He scores! Always a good idea to send it to the net. And Taylor Hall, his 12th of the year, makes it 3-0 Carolina.
Always a good idea to send it to the net. What if you're trying to send it in front of the net and you end up with the goal? Because that's what Svetch does. The power play goal for the Canes, a little fortuitous bounce there. Taylor Hall, I don't even think that was his best offering. I think they capitalized on a goalie that was a bit in a blender against Ottawa. This was the Canes' win on Saturday night, 4-1 on the road at Ottawa.
Former Cane, James Reimer.
Yeah, not his best. Not a tough day for old James E.R. I don't know if anyone's ever called him that. I'll put it this way, and I have it all written here in front of me, so why not? Why do I stray from the notes? And I don't usually script things, but this one kind of is. If you were just a stat watcher, right? If you're just a box score checker, right? Saturday night, everybody's staying in. If you were playing board games rather than because of the weather, everybody was kind of boxed in, rather than watching the game, and you were just checking the box score, you'd be kind of confused by the fact that the Canes kind of handily won that one by 3 goals. The Canes were outshot 36-19. Canes, that's the opposite of how the Canes play, right? They outshoot you regardless. They were outshot 36-19. They were outhit 34-12. They had 10 more penalty minutes. Thanks, Taylor Hall. Said one of those magic words, apparently. Canes were owned in the faceoff circle. They won 18 faceoffs to Ottawa's 38. So 32%, roughly. Canes had more giveaways. Like, you go on and on down the stat list, but you won 4-1. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, because part of it is Brandon Bussi was in net and he played well. Right? The young goaltender, the new goaltender, whatever you want to describe him, stopped 35 of the 36 shots he faced. I also think they were very opportunistic, right? Have you seen the movie? What's it? It's a poker movie. Molly's Game. Whew, that was going to kill me.
What movie?
Molly's Game.
No, I haven't seen that.
Okay, it's a pretty good movie. I liked it. Written by Aaron Sorkin, starring Jessica Chastain. Anyway, they illustrate very well what it's like in the poker world when somebody goes on tilt. When everybody, all the sharks in the game and people come in because somebody is they've lost their discipline, right? They're free money essentially, And in the poker world, there are some people that are pretty money hungry, and they'll show up and milk you for all you're worth. I had that feeling in the first period where Reimer and some of the Ottawa defense, they were there for the taking, right? And it really was just, if you get a chance, put it up there because he's not seeing it, right? He's sitting at the table, he's got deep pockets, and he's chasing losses. He's a target. He's on tilt. And the Canes took advantage of it, right? And they left the period up 3-0, and you don't necessarily have to play that well if you are super opportunistic in a few moments and you get goals out of them. Right? It was a nice little pass from Jankowski over there to Carrier to start things off. And I think from that point there was blood in the water until Ottawa regrouped a bit at the period intermission. And then, yes, I keep coming back to it. Brandon Bussi played well, right? And if you've got a goalie playing well, that helps you make up for a lot of other statistical differences as well. And also, Svetch is he's been scoring for the last month in a way that those just go in for you when things are going well, right? It's like, hey, did I deserve that one? Probably not, but I've gone through stretches where I've deserved a whole bunch and gotten none. So this is the hockey gods paying me back, right? It was kind of a strange decision that ended up in a goal, and you don't give them back. You say thank you and you move on. Canes get a little bit of a break here. Hopefully get a little healthier, I guess. But their next game's not till Thursday at home against Utah. 7 o'clock start then. You can hear it here on 99.9 The Fan, but I think that's good for them. They were on the ice today, this morning, not open to the public due to the weather, but it's feels like they've had a lot of 3s and 4s and a lot of back-to-backs and stuff. So getting a Saturday all the way to Thursday off is the time to get healthy and to work on some things.
It's a crazy schedule. Compressed schedule with the Olympics and all that coming up. Everyone's dealing with it.
And when they have – how many games do they have till the break? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 – just 5 games until they hit that long break for the Olympics. So, finish with a flurry. Finish with a nice little burst. That's what I'm hoping for. They've now gotten points in, 5 straight games? 5-game point streak. Keep it rolling. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Anything I missed about that game? We talked about it earlier. I've been all over the place with it.
I thought Jalen Chatfield had a great game. That was actually one of his best games all season.
And shout out to Mike Maniscalco, Trip Tracy. Obviously do a great job. Big fans. But they were on it early. Chatfield's buzzing. And because they were saying it, then obviously, you pay attention to it more as a viewer and you note it. So, yeah, really, really good game for Chatfield. Wish he would have come away with a goal. He had a couple good looks. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That does it for the starting 5, but we do have time for a little numbers game. If you want to win a $25 gift card to Autobell Car Wash to go wash all that salt off your car, right, especially if you're out driving around here and the ice there's a whole bunch of reasons why you want to get your car washed right now or in the next few days. $25 gift card to Autobell Car Wash going to one of you, but you got to earn it. You have to win the numbers game. So call in now to play. 919-860-5326. That's the number to call. 919-860-5326. Numbers game next.
Hi, this is Renee Chu. The most trusted local news in the Triangle is now on the radio. WREL News Plus. Now get breaking news and severe weather reports on the radio 24 hours a day. Listen on the radio at 96.5 FM in Durham, 99.3 FM in Raleigh, and everywhere in the Triangle at 101.5 HD3.
This is the sound of Lucy, staying on top of her spending. You see, even though she's buying a new pair of jeans, she knows that it fits within her monthly budget. Because Wells Fargo will send an alert if her balance drops below her set amount. Yep, nothing gets past Lucy, or Wells Fargo for that matter. However you make money work, Wells Fargo can work with that.
Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
It's the playoffs, and honestly, your living room isn't ready for this. Your couch doesn't have award-winning wings, your fridge doesn't have 30 beers on tap, and your TV, oh, it's outnumbered. Carolina Ale House has wall-to-wall TVs. We've got homemade favorites, ice-cold beer, and enough screens to catch every game at once. So grab your crew, bring your appetite, and yell at the TV like a professional. Don't fumble your game day plans. Watch the playoffs at Carolina Ale House, where great sports deserve great food. Ale, yeah.
Pondering prizes with Cash Pop? Why pick just one pop when you can pick as many pops as you please? Up to 15. Picture this. You pick your pop, perhaps a powerful 7. Now pick more pops like a proud 9, a pristine 15, a perfect 10. Each pop propagates more potential to pack your pockets with prizes up to $2,500. So prepare for a peppering of prizes with Cash Pop from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Cash Pop. Play more pops, win more prizes. Must be 18 to play. See Cash Pop prize and odds charts at nclottery.com. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. It is time to play the numbers game. Our contestants for today are Reggie in Sanford and Nick in Raleigh. They'll be battling it out for a $25 gift card to Autobell Car Wash. As always, we'll bring them both onto the show. We'll ask them the same question. Dennis will pick his favorite answer, and that person will get to go first. We'll start things off with Reggie. Reggie, can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. The question for you, as it often is on Mondays, we just finished up a weekend. What was the highlight of your weekend? But because we're a sports show, keep it sports related.
Carolina coming back to beating Virginia.
All right.
That was the highlight.
Carolina over Virginia. Tar Heels with the comeback. Dennis, any follow-ups?
No, sir.
Perfect. We roll two. Nick and Raleigh. Nick, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, same question to you. What was the highlight of your past weekend, with it being a Monday, looking back? But because we're a sports show, make sure it somehow relates to sports.
It was that Patriots-Broncos game yesterday. That second half in the snow was fun to watch.
All right. I wonder if somebody's not playing to the judge a little bit. We appreciate it, Nick. We'll lock you in. Dennis, you get to pick. Reggie going local with the Carolina win over Virginia. Huge win for the Tar Heels. Nick being a man after your own sports heart with the snow in the second half of the Patriots-Broncos game.
I love snow football. If there's snowing in a football game, I want it on my television. You are definitely playing in the audience, Nick. But I'm going Reggie on this one, and here's the reason why. I grew up in the Charlottesville area right by UVA, and I enjoy watching them lose.
Oh, interesting.
I enjoy watching them lose. I do. I'm not even a Carolina fan. Not a State fan, not a Duke fan, but I enjoy watching UVA lose. Even though one of my high school friends and play football with, John, is their play-by-play guy over there at UVA. I love John. Shout out to John. But I don't know. I just
didn't like the vibe when you were in the shadow of their stadium.
I can't stand UVA fans.
That's funny.
So I will take Reggie on this one.
Is it because they wear like pastel-colored khakis and tailgate in a strange way?
No comment.
I've only been to one UVA game, and that's what I remember. I was in high school at the time, and I just remember going like, wow, they all have those little logos like in a checkered on their pants. That's what I remember.
Yep.
All right. Anyway, so that means who gets to go first? Reggie. Reggie gets to go first, right? All right, Reggie, come on back. Nick, don't worry. You'll have your chance. Just have to sit on hold. What was that, Reggie?
Yes. Awesome.
Okay, you're ready to roll. The categories for you to choose from are NFL players, Panthers throughout history, NFL players that have only 8 letters in their full name, first and last, NBA players born south of the equator, or NHL Hurricanes throughout history.
I will go with the Panthers
throughout
number.
history. Yep. All right. I will give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. There will be 30 seconds on the clock. One pass if you need it. I will say the team in this category, even though we know it, just to keep it fair timing-wise with the other categories. Any questions before we get started?
No.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Julius Peppers, Carolina Panthers.
96.
Incorrect. Jimmy Horn Jr., Carolina Panthers.
That's 8.
Incorrect. Julius Peppers, Carolina Panthers.
90.
Correct. Curtis Samuel, Carolina Panthers.
Curtis Samuel. 20. 21.
Incorrect. Jimmy Horn Jr., Carolina Panthers.
Number 2.
Incorrect. Curtis Samuel, Carolina Panthers.
15.
Oh, 15 would have been right for Jimmy Horn Jr. Curtis Samuel, we were looking for 10, but you did get Julius Peppers. I wanted so badly the first time to just yell stop because it was Julius Peppers and you went 96. I was going stop. Don't say any more numbers. 90. It's just 90. But you got it right, so you did get the one. Avoided the shutout. Stay on hold. We'll see if it holds up. That brings us to Nick. Nick, can you hear us?
Yeah.
All right, perfect. The categories remaining for you to choose from are NFL players that have only 8 letters in their full name, that's first and last, combined, NBA players born south of the equator, or NHL Hurricanes throughout history.
Let's go Hurricanes.
All right. I'll give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock, one pass if you need it. I will say the team in this category, even though you know it, just keep it fair timing-wise with the other categories. And you need 2 for the win. Or more. Any questions before we get started?
No, that sounds great.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Frederick Anderson, Carolina Hurricanes.
31.
Correct. Jesper Foss, Carolina Hurricanes.
71.
Correct. Jake Bean, Carolina Hurricanes.
Pass.
Rasmus Rissanen, Carolina Hurricanes.
55.
Incorrect. Kevin Weeks, Carolina Hurricanes.
75.
Incorrect. Jake Bean, Carolina Hurricanes.
80.
Incorrect. Rasmus Rissanen, Carolina Hurricanes.
4.
Incorrect. Kevin Weeks, Carolina. You got enough for the win. You got Anderson. You got Quickie. You got Foss. That is 2. That is all you needed. For those of you playing at home, Bean, 24. I think it's tough when you have like a player who has a number now that's so linked to him to think anybody wore it before. So 24 is what we were looking for there. For Rissanen, we were looking for 62, and Weeks, 80. But like we said, enough for the win, so you get the gift card to go get your car washed. Congratulations.
Appreciate it.
Go ahead and stay in the line, and Dennis will grab the info he needs to make sure you get your prize. That, once again, being a Autobell car wash gift card. Everybody else, think about Autobell. You need to get all that salt off your car. It'll do damage if you leave it. I feel like
that's true.
A parent talking to like their kid in college, like, go do it now, because don't let that sit on. Don't let it start corroding your car away. $25 Autobell car wash gift card. The prize, I should say, for Nick in Raleigh there. I'm trying to think. The snow debate is one I'm going to have in my own brain for a long time. In high school, I played in some snow games. Which is just never fun because like in college, we had the heaters, you had the proper equipment, all the Under Armour you could want, so you could kind of prepare a little bit better. I feel like high school, you're just out there, you got like one manager with a towel wiping the ball off, and he's doing his best, and you know, some guys are wearing hoodies underneath their pads, especially if it's practice. It's just you're more. I feel like. In high school, every team becomes like the Bad News Bears once there's a little bit of ice and snow. So if you get a game, it's just so much fun. Guys are sliding around. If you score a touchdown, you do the baseball slide and just zzz forever. I was never a cold weather person. The debate that we're having. The debate that we're having is this. I get regular season weather games, right? If it's downpour, figure it out, play. I just don't like. There are such high stakes in something like a conference championship game, and when it just starts dumping snow, or when it's so cold that Drake May turns around to hand the ball off to Ramondre Stevenson, and Stevenson falls down because he loses his footing before Drake May can hand it off, and then Drake May's like, oh no, he fell, I better run, and he takes one step and he falls. Like, that's not how good of a football player you are. That's not how good of a football team you are. It's not helping anybody judge, who's better, which is what I think we're trying to do in a playoff, right? But also, football is an outdoor sport. It's here. I'm struggling. I don't know the answer. I know Dennis wants everything to be played in the snow. And I know a bunch of you are like, well, the NFL films wouldn't be as fun if it wasn't the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field. I hear you. Do you know what I think it bothers me about? This is what it bothers me. And it's the same thing that bothers me about baseball fields. I think there should be like uniform measurements, right? I think there should be I don't think you should be able to build your team around your home field and have an advantage over team. Like if you're playing if you're Buffalo, right? Buffalo should, and they don't always do it, should have like a 230-pound power straight-ahead football player on their team. So when they have 4 feet of snow, they're better equipped than, the Dolphins coming to town for a division game in Week 18. And I just don't know if it's same thing with baseball, right? Like, the Yankees have a short porch. So what do? They get a billion left-handed hitters, and they're just better. They're just better suited. And I'm like, that's not who's a better baseball team. That's you play it in different sport kind of than the other teams that are coming in. So if some teams are in a dome, I just know that every dome is the same. So you're measuring who's the better football team in every dome. And I don't know what else to do with that. But it's also, some of my best memories watching football are watching, crazy games in the snow. And I appreciate that. So I'm stuck. I'm staying.
That's why they call it
voting.
home field advantage.
No, home field advantage is like your fans are awesome.
Yeah.
It's not like,
and
hey,
the elements.
Our hitters don't have to hit it as far. Like that's or, we can negate your awesome passing game without doing anything, just walking onto the field and it's cold. Like that's I don't know. I struggle with it. We should be measuring who has the playoffs should be measuring who's the best football team, not like who grew up in the cold.
Oh, let's deal with it. If you're good, you can handle it.
Except like passing in a northern environment outdoors this time of year it's not the same game as earlier in the year.
Okay. That's why it's playoff football.
But not in Detroit.
Okay.
Why did Detroit get to decide that they don't have to deal with it?
It's their choice.
I know. That's the issue. It shouldn't be a choice. It should be.
So then what? Everyone gets a dome? That sounds boring.
I don't know.
That just sounds sterile.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, it does.
You go into different domes, it feels differently. The fans have an impact on the game. Basketball is sterile?
Well, you talking about
no,
again,
basketball
this
is
an
not
outdoor
sterile,
sport.
and every game is played
It's an
inside.
outdoor sport. That's apples and oranges.
No, because
sterile
doesn't matter what sport it is. If it's inside, it's sterile.
It's like baseball. It's like no, like that's the whole thing. Dimensions, but you build but that's also the on teams to figure out. Like you mentioned, the Yankees, they want to build their team to play at the short porch and right field.
I don't
but
like that.
You got to go on the road and win too. Like that's the thing. So you can't just completely cater. You have to go win on the road too.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. All these series go to 7 games.
If you win,
you got to win on the road.
If you win 4 at home, you don't have to.
Okay, well then, congratulations, you won.
I know.
Other teams have to build around that too.
Listen, I'm saying I'm on the fence about it, but I do like if I'm a Broncos fan, I think I had significantly the better team, and you didn't win, and it wasn't like, oh, well, you made mistakes. It was like, oh, the elements jumped in. Like that.
You also made mistakes.
That's significantly more of a grudge than other things that are out of your control, like, a billion other things. That's all I'm saying, especially because they were home. Their home field advantage was actually a home field disadvantage.
Doesn't help that your backup quarterback's playing.
Yeah, but like a backup quarterback, like the clinching interception there at the end, who's to say that your backup quarterback, you're already having to play with a backup, isn't able to step into it a little bit better, and when the elements aren't there, maybe it's at least an incompletion and you're still alive. It's tough. That's all I'm saying. I'm always in favor of the best teams winning within the realms of the game, and I'm not sure. I'm on the fence. I'm abstaining from voting because I see both merits on both sides. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We will come back and we'll talk about something that you can't argue because it's all inside. How well Brandon Bussi's playing. Stick around.
Dennis Cox from 99.9 The Fan, from my good friends over at Law Tigers. Something about this time of year that we all enjoy is the weather, but weather is actually the thing you need to keep in mind when it comes to your motorcycle, and that goes beyond just, is it raining outside, or is there bad weather on the way, or are the roads a little bit wet? It goes beyond that because the weather and how cold it's getting impacts your motorcycle. If you're starting up a cold engine and a cold motorcycle on a cold morning, well, it takes a little bit more time for your motorcycle to get heated up. So make sure you let your bike properly warm up and make sure you follow your owner's manual to make sure you are getting your bike up to a proper working temperature, because the last thing you want to do is damage your motorcycle. But if you're injured in a motorcycle accident, call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS even before you contact the insurance company. Law Tigers are there to fight for you. Your case evaluation is always free, and you don't pay a dime until your case settles. So call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
Hey, it's Adam Gold, and as the Carolina Hurricanes shoot for their 8th consecutive playoff appearance, that's right, 8 in a row, that's not the goal. I should remind you, the goal is being, as Rod Brindamore likes to say, the last team standing. What do they need? Who will get them there? You know where you can find the answers on every episode of the Canes Corner podcast, live on YouTube after games, and wherever you get your podcast. Rate, subscribe, like, share, tell your friends.
Hi, Greg Talbot with Strategic Tax Resolution. Tax enforcement and defense strategies have changed a lot over the last year. After nearly 5 years, the IRS has restarted automated collections. You could be next for bank levies and wage garnishments. Ignoring the issue is not an option. Call 984-272-2600 to get protected. Do you have unfiled returns or tax debt? We work directly with the IRS and states so you don't have to. Let us use our proven strategies and experience with the IRS and state to resolve your tax issue. Qualified clients have cut their tax debt by more than 90%. How would that feel? Act now to learn the latest updates to tax relief programs. Your eligibility may not be the same. Strategic Tax Resolution. Local, trusted, A+ rated by the BBB. Call 984-272-2600. Ask for me, Greg Talbot. 984-272-2600. You've got a guy on your side. StrategicTaxResolution.com. Get relief.
A family office is a team built to handle the 3 biggest financial responsibilities a family faces: wealth management, tax strategy, and estate planning. Most firms only manage your investments and refer the rest out, hoping everyone stays aligned. At Trajan, we built something different. Your wealth, tax planning, and estate planning are handled together inside one firm under one roof. There's no guessing whether your CPA, advisor, and estate attorney are truly in sync, because our team works together every day on your behalf. When your financial life becomes more complex, your advice should become more coordinated, not more fragmented. One plan, one trusted team. Call Trajan today.
919-205-9800. That's 919-205-9800.
Trajan Wealth, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Additional services through Trajan Estate and Trajan Tax. Additional disclosures and accreditation at TrajanWealth.com.
This hour of The Drive is brought to you by Law Tigers. Injured in a motorcycle accident? Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS before you call your insurance company. Case evaluations are always free, and you don't pay a dime until your case settles. Law Tigers, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Brandon Bussi got another win on Saturday. Stopped 35 of the 36 shots faced. I'm sorry, I got to address this, Dennis. I don't know if you can see the television here in the studio.
Okay.
It's on what I think is ESPN, the one to the right here.
All right. Yeah, you have ESPN too.
And for some reason, it's a 30 for 30. I think it's the I Hate Christian Leitner 30 for 30.
Oh, nice.
But it's frozen on just a little girl. She looks like she's probably 10 or 11 years old.
All right.
And she is like looking down at me, staring with a thumbs down, wearing a shirt that says I still hate Leitner. And it's been frozen that way for like hours. And every time I look over there, it's kind of horror movie. It's just this little girl like scowling thumbs down, and she like the way the camera's set up, it's looking right at me. And I've done my best to ignore it throughout the show, but it is frozen on just this. It's like the I don't know, like a horror movie where there's looking down at me with my thumb pointed. And I don't know how else to, like, you got to laugh, but it's also like, caught me off guard again.
I don't know. It might be personal.
Maybe. I mean, it looks like it. Like, we're making eye contact. I don't know if you can see it, but all right, we'll move on from that. But that's why in the middle of talking about Brandon Bussi, I just went like, because there's not much I can do about that. I could have turned it off maybe hours ago, but I didn't.
Now, why would you?
Brandon Bussi, 19 wins, 3 losses, 1 shootout loss. I mean, it's to the point now where it's like every game he's like breaking his own record, right? It's like fastest to 19 wins. He was fastest to 18, and it just keeps adding up. And it's another win. It's kind of standard, right? Like, all right, Bussi's in, they got the win. All right, Bussi's in, they got the win. And it's extension time, I guess, already. They're talking about it. There's the reports out there that, a few different options have already been discussed between Bussi's people, his representation, and the team. And we don't know what the terms are, but we have the info. I believe it's Saravalli, right? Frank Saravalli, with the audio. And I'll play it for you so you can hear it for yourself.
So what happens next? How, if you're the Canes, do you balance the risk of that? And how, if you're the Bussi camp, as he's a pending unrestricted free agent, can hit the open market, do you manage current and future earnings with being in a great spot? So there's a couple different ideas here. It's probably not going to be like a 6-year type deal at a low AAV, but the best way to get value for the team and security for Bussi is probably on a multi-year deal. My guess is something like, no one has told me this, but I think something either 2 years or 4 years makes a lot of sense, that he can bypass the market, be in a comfortable spot. The Canes feel like they probably have seen enough to be able to make or place a wager on Bussi right now and not knock it out of the park, but still get to the end of this deal where you've got an opportunity to get another contract at 30-ish, age 30, to then continue your career and earnings. So major milestone for him. I think this is one of those deals that everyone's excited to think about and talk about, because he's been not just an electrifying player for the Canes or impact piece for the Canes, but also because everyone really likes the humble nature that he's had and how he hasn't taken 1 second of this run with the Canes for granted.
Listen, I think now makes a lot of sense for an extension for Brandon Bussi. Needless to say, right? When you are not a top draft pick, you're not super, high up in all of the rankings, you're not making a ton of money in the minors. So this guy has dedicated his life to playing hockey, and he's 27 years old, and this is his first real cash out time. And I think the team can take advantage of that, right? Hey, you want stability? You want life-changing money? We'll give it to you. But we're going to need a little stability in return, right? Maybe a little bit of term, maybe not top of market, whatever you think you can get. I think it's just a good time for it. What those numbers are, I do not know, and I don't want to pretend like I do. I'm seeing people on social media saying like, "What do you want the contract to look like?" And I'm going, no clue, because it's such a unique situation. Older guy playing unbelievably well. We have seen certain goalies in history have like unbelievable hot streaks to start their career and then go on to be all-time greats. We've seen guys have hot streaks to start their career and fizzle pretty aggressively. And all of that is still on the table for Brandon Bussi. I also think that worth the risk. When you find somebody that can do what he's doing, like, you want to play out the string. You want to see how this thing ends up. So, yeah, like I'm in. I don't know what that means, and I don't want to pass anything along like I'm some kind of cap expert or some kind of goalie market expert. 2 years or 4 years, like as you just heard in the audio. I don't even like, Dennis, if relatively same, obviously you'd get more, higher average annual value on a 2 year than a 4 year, just due to stability and how much you're committing. Would you rather have Bussi on a 2 year or a 4 year?
I think 2 times 4. 2 years for per. I think that's fair on both sides. Because if you have another good year, you follow it up again, then you're right there, 1 year left on your deal. You can sign another extension right after that if you want to.
All right.
Like, okay, this is like you say, now it's not a fluke. You can go. But if it is, hey, you come back down to earth or whatever it is, or you start playing at a quote unquote lower level, then you're not saddled with something for 4 or 5 years. Like there is a real possibility in that. Like
from a team's perspective.
From a team perspective,
Brandon
absolutely.
Bussi's saying like, I want to be what you're saddled with.
Yeah.
Like if I come back down to earth, I want you to have to keep paying me beyond when you want to.
That's why I think 2 times 4 I think is fair.
$8 million for a guy, 27. Probably wasn't sure if he was going to get the shot. I think he might leap at that, and his representation may say like, dude, leap at that. And then in addition to that, 27, right? 29, another bite at the apple, or 28 even if it's legit and he plays great. That's better than 30 something is not exactly when you want to be going for your second kind of big contract. All I know is this. He has turned himself into an NHL goaltender. The trials and tribulations that he's gone through in his career, I think it's charming how kind of still wide-eyed and oh my gosh, this is awesome he's been. I don't know. Did you see the what was it, the Hockey Night in Canada interview with he got to keep the scarf, and you could tell he's like, no way, I get to, awesome, like genuinely lit up that he got to keep the scarf. Like I think that's all charming, but I think also like, no, you're an NHL goaltender now, buddy. Like you're going to get a lot of free stuff. People like giving things to the big league goalies. You know what I mean? If you keep stopping pucks, you keep winning at the rate that you're winning. Scarves are going to be just the beginning of like cool things that you're able to do. He's got to get used to it.
By the way, Brandon Bussi tomorrow at the local Canes Corner.
Oh, right.
Live.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah.
Give the details. Where, when, all that stuff.
So normally it would be a Monday night, but because of the weather, it got pushed to tomorrow. But tomorrow, 7 o'clock, you can listen to it right here on 99.9 The Fan. Brandon Bussi, Mike Maniscalco, Canes Corner live right there at the local, right there by the Lenovo Center. I know there's an NC State basketball game and all that kind of stuff going on, but get there. But we'll have it for you live on YouTube, live on The Fan, all that stuff for you.
Looking forward to it. I mean, they always do a great job of humanizing the players and kind of what's beneath the helmet, so to speak. Mike Maniscalco does a great job. I'm really interested in what we learn about Brandon Bussi.
I will say, everyone talks about his humbleness. It's 100% real.
Oh, yeah.
Plenty of times gone into the locker room and just stuff that you're not even talking to him one-on-one, but we might be talking to someone else that's in the locker next to him or something like that, and he'll just kind of hang out to the side before he takes some of his gear and stuff off. And I'm like, oh man, I'm so sorry. Let me get out of your way. He's like, no, you're working. You're totally fine. I was like, no, you just worked. I'm just standing here recording something. You can sit here and take off all your equipment, buddy. You're fine.
No, you can tell. He's like, when I say wide-eyed, it's not anything manufactured. He's a guy who grew up loving hockey, and he's playing in the NHL. And he's playing really well in the NHL. Like, enjoy it. Enjoy it fully. It may become a job for you at some point, but right now it's just awesome, and they're going to pay you a lot of money to do it. Let your agents do that, and you just enjoy it. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have Overdrive coming up next. We're going to look at the massive win for UNC basketball over Virginia on Saturday to start things off. Then we'll get to some Panthers talk. Also coming up later on tonight here on The Fan, number 13 in the country, BYU versus number 1 in the country, Arizona. That's maybe the best player in A.J. DeBonsa up against maybe the best team in Arizona. The Duke-Louisville top 20 matchup will be on our sister station, Buzz Sports Radio. That's going to do it for us on a Monday. Be safe driving home. If you are driving home, we'll see you tomorrow. Until then, have a great night, everybody.
The Adam Gold Show.
Folks, Brandon Bussi just might be the guy. The performance against Buffalo, the consistency of performance. The fact that in his 22 starts, 13 times, he has allowed 2 or fewer goals. Do you know what Carolina's record is when the goalie allows 2 or fewer goals? They are 18-1. That says it all.
The Adam Gold Show, weekdays starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
ESPN presents the NHL Stadium Series in a most unexpected place. A hockey takeover of Tampa, Florida and Raymond James Stadium, where the Boston Bruins collide with the Tampa Bay Lightning. Two teams take their shot at a one-of-a-kind game. The 2026 Navy Federal Credit Union NHL Stadium Series. Bruins, Lightning, Sunday, February 1st at 6:30 Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app.
Canes hockey is back, and there's nothing more refreshing than an ice-cold Surfside to enjoy while you cheer on your Canes on the ice. Surfside is only 100